Brand new banger.
What is your hatred for John Cena?
Yo, when Hulk Hogan takes a rock bottom better than you, there's a problem. There's a problem. My man. All right, so give me the camera.
One rock bottom.
Yo, no, it's more than that. Show, give me the camera. I got the fucking camera. Kenny, I'm gonna have to do it for you. I'm gonna give you the whole spiel. He came out as a prototype. Whatever. You know, he slaps Kurt Angle. Ruthless aggression. I'm not into that. Whatever. He comes out as a rapper. I'm like, okay, all right, I could dig it. You know, he's from Boston, so that's a strike. You know, us New Yorkers, we don't fuck with Boston too much, but you know what? I'll look over that. He's doing his thing. Something original. Some I could, you know, there's something different. It's entertaining. Comes around, and my man has a choice between The Big Show, Kane, or Shawn Michaels. And he gives the most pussiest promo I've ever heard in my life. I will never forgive this. And he's on some, well, you know, I don't want to fight The Big Show because, you know, he's a huge guy, and, you know, you got the Big Red Machine who wants to fight him, and Shawn Michaels is a legend. Fuck that, bro. You already beat all these motherfuckers already.
Her return on SmackDown.
Okay.
So I definitely read some rumors about that.
Because for whatever reason, and I don't know Cody's reason, you turn around and go back, and people are gonna be, you destroyed thrones, and you go back? We have been doing this shit for ages, and he still doesn't know how to take it right. Trust me. That's it. I got you.
Oh,
man,
shit.
He collapsed with the kick.
That's what I'm saying. That's the way he didn't collapse during the sun. It was the kick. It was the
He's not even in his fucking chair when he gets in this fucking thing. He's not even in his fucking chair.
Yeah, but he
there
goes, oh!
There he goes.
Both matches without the wrestlers were in the table.
And on that note, everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood.
I stay loose, I stay hype. I stay loose, I stay hype. I stay loose, I stay hype. I could do this all night, cause I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right. And I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go! Yeah! Let's go! Here I go, I get lit, I get hype for this shit. Right.
Word. He be like, I got a left elbow and a right elbow. I can break your face with an any elbow. Make sure that you get elbowed in your elbow with an elbow. Got the arm bar, get the phone ball, get around with the bomb and the bomb ball.
Daddy's gonna take you to Jersey Shore.
Fucking show, what'd you do to our guests, bro?
Yo, Kenny really got offended and kicked him off. Damn.
Word. That
I don't like turning away from people on the same screen with me.
Yo, Kenny, we bring you. You're finally back on the show. We bring you back on the show, and you kick out our guests.
shit.
What happened?
Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. We didn't get Dijak. We just said that so people could come on the show.
No, listen.
That was it.
I don't want to hear shit, Kenny. we started the intro and show is like this in the fucking camera and Dijak fucking left.
Just for anyone watching or listening on Spotify, Dijak will be joining us any moment now. He was here.
He was here. He totally was here.
He really was.
I think he got scared off. I think he got scared off by the warning of a 42-minute intro. He said, you know what? I'm done.
I made him laugh, so I don't want to hear shit.
It wasn't. You know what I think it was? Hold on. You know what I think it was? I think it was when Toe went into the beginning of the intro and he was talking about like John Cena and his hatred for John Cena. And I know that me and Dijak love John Cena. So he was just like, oh, I'm not doing this shit no more. And just shut it off.
Well, listen, when he should have taught John Cena how to take a fucking rock bottom then.
Yo.
One rock bottom. There he goes. We apologize for whatever show did to kick you off of the stream.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
How y'all treat the guests like that?
Word. Well,
he didn't like that you spoke about John Cena.
Yo, first off, shut up, all right? I'm talking. I started the intro here. Feast your fucking eyes on Donovan Dijak. Welcome to the Knucklehead Network. We're wrestling with Knuckleheads. Happy to have you here, bro. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Yes.
Not bad. Jet lag.
Yeah, Kenny's on location.
I literally just got home from the airport like an hour ago.
Story of my life, man.
That ain't shit. That's what he just told you.
Basically, the way he just smiled and looked at the camera, he's like, "Stop being a bitch."
Yeah,
I understand that. Like, it's
he
okay.
jumps out of one plane into another plane to get to another location. He never lands. So, all right, we start off with 6 random questions. It's meant to break the ice. I think the ice is already fucking broken, but we still got to do it anyway. It took me all day to write these questions, but you know. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, that's not one of them. I just wanted to get a cheap one in there. But the first one, Donovan Dijak, are we alone in the universe?
Oh, no. The universe is way too big. It's incomprehensibly big. So no, there's almost no chance.
All right. Number 2, if you believe in karma, what happens to those people who don't complete your order at the fast food restaurant? They don't put your full order in the bag. What happens to those people?
I honestly, I'm angry in the moment, but I forgive them ultimately because I don't think anyone's intentionally doing that, right? Because it happens to me all the time, right? Something comes up. It happened to me 2 days ago. I ordered 3 things at Taco Bell, and I looked in the back. I got 2, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" But I never circle back. I never start complaining. I just go, you know what? I don't need that much fast food. I'm good. This is fine. They'll be fine. They didn't mean to do this. Not a big deal.
And I hear you, but the next time I go there, I'll be like, yo, last time you forgot my shit.
Right.
All right. Number 3, are paper straws humane?
Are paper straws humane?
Yes.
Man, I fucking hate paper straws.
Yo, me too.
Yeah. It's like cool for like the first second when you get one of those like old timey milkshakes or whatever. You're like, oh, cool, paper straw, but then it starts falling apart in your mouth, and I just it's not for me. It's not for me. I'll take the plastic straw that's kind of shaped to look like it. I'll compromise.
No, yeah, I hear that. I man, I think I walk out of a place if they give me paper straws. This, All right. So number 4. Yes, number 4.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about changing the words to "Return of the Mac" to "Return of Dijak" as your new entrance music? Return of Dijak.
That's good.
Return of Dijak once again.
My buddy in college, on my basketball team, his name was Mac, so we used to sing that song to serenade him. He's actually the head coach of the basketball team I was on now. He's been head coach for a couple of years now. We're still good friends, but yeah, Matty McLaughlin, he's a really good dude, and we used to call him Mac, and we used to sing that song to him. So no, I would never take that from him. I would never. That's gimmick infringement where I come from.
See, Ray, you're supposed to fill me in on shit like this, Ray.
My apologies. That didn't come up in our conversation. I'm sorry.
Speaking of the conversation you had with Ray, he told me he wanted to ask a question that he couldn't get to ask, but because this is Wrestling Knuckleheads. So he wanted to know if you have been pimping since been pimping. I don't know. That's his question.
Yeah, for sure.
This was definitely not one of my questions.
No,
I definitely was. Freeman. You know it.
No, it's okay. You don't have to be shy. I've absolutely been pimping since.
You see?
No doubt in my mind.
Oh man, that's great.
All right. And the last question before we get serious. Does speaking with a Spanish accent make you bilingual?
Facts.
No. I have many Spanish-speaking friends, and I would not disgrace them with that with such a claim.
You know what it is, because you're not from New York. If you was from New York, you would have said yes.
I did hear the.
Never mind. I was like, it worked for Scott Hall.
Right. Before my internet cut out and I missed half the intro, I did hear the part where you started shitting on people from Boston. So I took the brunt of that attack.
Wait, are you from Boston?
I am from about 30 minutes outside of Boston. Yeah.
Jeez. Well, you know something. I'm a Yankees fan, so.
Well, we all have
it's in my blood to shit up people. But you know what? You came on the show, so you're a New Yorker for now. All right. I don't know if that's any better.
That's actually much worse.
But yeah, so I wanted to ask a question. When you got drafted to Raw this last time, you had a shirt that says Dijak Hijack. How did you see that playing out in the main roster? Was that something that you like your gimmick?
Absolutely. I wanted to integrate a number of catchphrases into promos that I was going to start doing, because I've been on the main roster before, and I kind of know how the sort of flow of it goes, and I understand the level of integration and crowd interaction sort of ups and increases. So I wanted to bring a new level of that, because my first run, and then my first NXT run, and then obviously the Retribution stuff and the solo stuff on Raw, and then back down to NXT, it all came from a place of seriousness, and it really wasn't until the end of my second run on NXT where I started to really bring more of myself and my own personality into things. And I realized as I was doing that you could really have the best of both worlds, in terms of, because I was always from this point of view, like, it's a fight, I'm serious, I need to take this all very seriously. The reality of the situation is I can do that. I can do, when the bell rings, I can still do that. But then the personality and the character part of it, I felt like the more it trended towards who I really am as a person, an individual. And again, it varies from day to day, right? Some days I'm angry, and some days I'm happy, and some days but for the most part, I'm usually in like either a decent mood, or at least a self-deprecating mood, or something involving some layer of humor, whether it's dark humor or whatever it is. So I started to trend more in that direction. I started to bring a lot of that to television. I started to put the ratio stuff and talk about that on commentary on NXT, and people started to dig it and gravitate towards it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go, when I get called up to Raw, I'm going to go full board with this. I'm going to keep this character. It's still going to be, based in being a vigilante, sort of crime and justice guy with bringing people to justice and all that stuff. But I'm going to bring more of my flair to it. I'm going to be more of a wise ass. I'm going to be more of a self perpetuating sort of character. And I thought people would relate to that, so I came up with these catchphrases. I came up with these concepts, and I'm still going to do them. It's just not on Monday Night Raw anymore. Now it's on Twitter and the indie promotions that I'm going to be on and stuff. So I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to get it over, and there's still going to be billions of people seeing it. It'll just be in a different medium, or maybe for a different company. Who knows? But I'm confident in the stuff. The more I say it, the more I feel comfortable with it. The more I act the way I normally want to, the more I feel like that translates over the character and the presentation, everything that I'm trying to do. It all just kind of flows together and feels right. So that's ultimately what's going to translate the best with the audience 99% of the time, is if the performer feels comfortable in presenting it. So that's how I feel with this. So that's kind of how I'm going to keep pressing forward.
Nice. Do you feel like you're going to turn it up a notch, though, just a little bit more now that you're going to be on the independent scene? Because now you have more creative control of your own character and everything like that. You get to do what the fuck you want to do. So are we going to see that turn up a notch instead of it being held back as you were in WWE?
Yeah, for sure. I would say I don't know if I'd say turn it up a notch, because I was always trying to do that, and in some instances I would succeed, right? Like if a lot of the time in WWE, I had to, especially towards the end, as I got more and more comfortable, I had to make active decisions on whether I would do what I want, do whatever I want, and just not clear it by anybody and kind of ask for forgiveness afterwards, or clear it by them and risk getting it unapproved. So I would kind of tightrope walk that, and a lot of the time, because the only time that I would ask for forgiveness instead of permission is if I was confident that it would be a success. And every single time I did, it was a success. It always worked out, whether someone was upset in the moment or not. It always ended up getting positive reviews at some point. So I'm going to keep that same mindset, but now I don't have to worry about that piece of it. I don't have to run anything by anyone. I don't have to ask for permission, and I don't need to get approval. I can just have my ideas and I can just do them. And that, taking out that middleman, just going to make things a lot easier for me. That being said, it's still going to be the same thought process. I'm still going to have the same concepts. I'm still going to have the same ideas. We'll just skip that part where they maybe get approved or they maybe don't get approved, or maybe I just do them without approval. Skip all that. We just get to go straight to the source. And I just get to say and do whatever I want. So yeah, that'll be so in a sense, yes, it'll be turned up a notch just as a consumer of my product.
Mhm.
But as me being the producer, I've been turned up, and it's just what parts of it get censored. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Have you ever been turned down with an idea and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway"?
No, never.
Okay.
Never once. No. I was there's the first time or the second time I was brought back to NXT, I was so thankful for the opportunity, because you can't forget I was in a really difficult spot, right? When I was it was the end of Retribution, and me and Mace were tag partners, and we were unmasked. Then we got broken up and split up in the draft, and there was a good year there after the draft happened where I was T-Bar and I had no storylines on TV. I had a couple of matches on Raw at the end of 2021, but for all of 2022, I had 2 appearances on Raw. One was getting squashed, one was a battle royal. I lost both of those, and then I was on Main Event. So I'm this guy named T-Bar, who nobody likes or cares about, on the show Main Event that a lot of people don't watch. And it was just there every week, trading wins and losses with the same 10 guys every in rotation every couple months. So by the end of that, and this is around the time when Hunter took over from Vince, by the end of that, I was so concerned for my job, basically, because I still had a year and a half left of my contract, but WWE contracts have verbiage in there that says that they can release you at any time for any reason,
Yeah.
and you only get 90 days notice. So I figured T-Bar on Main Event is right at the top of that list. So by the time I got that phone call where they were moving me to NXT, first of all, I thought that phone call was me getting fired. It wasn't. It was me getting moved to NXT. And once I got that break, I was all on board for doing whatever they wanted me to do, right? Especially after I made the presentation and said, here's what I'd like to look like, here's what I'd like to be called, here's what I'd like my background story to be, here's what I'd like the entrance to be, all of that stuff. And they did pretty much exactly what I pitched. And from that point, they being the NXT creative team, which is Shawn Michaels and Johnny Russo, I was so thankful for that and indebted to them that for a very, very long time, I just did exactly what they said, just whatever they said, because I was like, you know what? I owe you guys basically my career. I still do to this point. Because if I had been released at that moment of T-Bar, I'd be screwed right now. I'd be in a terrible spot. I'd still be trying to fight out of it. I'm sure of it. So I'm incredibly thankful of that. That being said, I was on NXT for over a year. I was told 6 months, but it ended up being over a year, almost a year and a half. So I did get to the point where I got more and more and more comfortable. I started getting feedback from the creative team telling me, they're like, hey, we want you to be yourself. We want you to have this, the personality that you have online is trending in a good direction. Start doing more of that. So once I got comfortable with that and those sort of feelings, and I started to really get a better sense of what I wanted to present on television with this character, then I started having to weigh the pros and cons of like a situation where I know that something's going to get over and it's going to be successful, but I also know that if I ask for approval, their hands are tied and they have to say no, right? I'll give you an example, and this is something I've talked about before, but the best example I can give, and it's a wrestling thing, it's not a promo thing, but it's just the clearest example is I had a match with Joe Gacy in a steel cage that was called an Asylum match. So I knew for sure with 100% certainty that I wanted moonsault off the cage onto Joe Gacy. I also knew with 100% certainty that if I asked permission to do that, they would say absolutely not. And it's not because they hate wrestling or they don't want to see cool stuff or something like that. It's because if I ask permission and they say yes, and something goes wrong, like I land on Joe's head and he gets a concussion, or I slip and fall and I break my leg, or I miss completely and it looks like a complete farce, or whatever bad thing could happen. If they approve it, then that falls on their shoulders, right? If USA Network comes calling and says, what's happening? This is
it's a shit show.
All of that heat goes on them if they say yes. So they're almost obligated to say no to almost everything. So I made the decision in that moment. I was like, okay, I prefer this be the finish, but if it's the finish, I have to ask them because we rehearse all finishes and all that stuff. So I'm like, so I'm just going to do it in the middle of the match and I'll use it as a false finish. I'm not going to ask anyone. I'll kind of show them that I plan on doing a moonsault, but I won't, climb to the top of the cage or anything like that. I told my producer, yeah, there's a moonsault coming up. And then I just went to the top instead of that.
I mean, you didn't lie to them.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't lie. You just
nobody asked me, "Are you jumping off the cage?" If
exactly, there you go. That's their fault.
Yeah. So
you did your part, dude.
Yeah. I just didn't tell the whole truth, and I went to the back, and they were all. It was kind of a mixed bag of like, hey, that was awesome, but don't do that shit ever again.
Yeah,
I can imagine that would be the reaction. And having Gacy in there, I'm surprised he didn't say, hey, why don't you just throw me off the cage?
Right.
That definitely wouldn't have been approved.
When I say that we thought about it, right? Yep. So Joe's whole character is this Mick Foley mankind, like he can take all this punishment. I threw him off the truck into the dumpster to build to this. So all the pieces were there. But if you've ever seen the top of that cage, like go back and look at the footage. There's nowhere to be on the top of that cage. You cannot have two human beings up there. It's like even just me standing up there was horrifying. It's like
I was gonna ask you that.
I didn't get to practice it, right? So the first time I stood up there was the first time anybody saw it on TV was the first time I stood up there, and I'm standing there, and that shit's like swaying.
Yeah, that had nothing. It was held by a rubber band. That's what it felt like.
And I'm. It's funny. I'm looking. I have my feet planted, so I'm like, okay, my feet are planted, and then I'm looking down, and I see Sarah Schreiber, and she's just looking at me, and she's like, I can see it in her face that she's like, oh my god, and I'm standing there, and my only thought process is, I can feel how much this thing is swaying, but my feet are planted in a good spot, and I feel comfortable enough to stand up. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to commit to jumping the same way I've always committed to jumping, and just pray to God that the cage doesn't like kick out like I think it might. Thankfully, it didn't. You know, there's a little bit of sway, but in my head before I did it, I was like, that cage is so flimsy that it just feels like under my weight that it might like kick out. You know, like you ever seen a guy like try to dive off a ladder, and this was before the referees used to hold it and stuff.
Yeah.
Just jump, it's like Jeff Hardy like trying to jump off the ladder, it just kicks out and they just nose dive into the ground. I was like, there's like a 50% chance that shit happens, but I just have to commit to it while I'm standing up there. And thankfully, it was sturdy enough where I was able to get my bearings. But yeah, that's just one example of a time where I thought, okay, I know for sure this is going to 100% get over, and this will be the only part of this match that anybody remembers. So, which is hilarious considering all the nonsense that we did in that match. But yeah, I was like, that was my goal, you know, is just do something every match that someone would remember. And a lot of times stuff would pop into my head, and most of the time I would ask if I could do it, and they'd be like, no, we can't do that, we can't risk it, and then I'd have to listen, because if you ask permission and they say no and you do it anyway, that's a big red flag. That's like,
they can't trust you.
Yeah, I trust you, I can't do anything, we can't work together. So I never did that. But yeah, multiple times I went to the back and said, hey, I just felt it out there. You know,
the crowd was asking for it.
I had the plan like 24 hours in advance, and I'm like, here's how I'm gonna do it. They knew that. They knew we were both just playing this game of saving face. You know, it's all fun when it all works out.
For real. Shit. You got a question, Kenny?
Yeah. So
all right.
I always say, like, when it comes to WWE, like, they're the company you would go to when you want to be like a star, like a movie star, right? So now that you have not a lot of free time, but you're not under a WWE schedule. Like, are we gonna see you in a Netflix movie or on the big screen in theaters? Like, is that something that you want to try and pursue now that you have that time?
Probably not anytime soon, and I'll tell you why. When I the timing worked out nicely about a year ago, where I could start taking acting classes, because I'm a huge movie fan, and I've always been a big proponent of acting. I've always wanted a career in acting. It's always been a passion of mine, especially with the vignettes that we started doing with the Dijak character, because the Dominic Dijakovic stuff was back in the black and gold, and it was I don't think I did any vignettes, maybe like one where I was like kicking a bag or whatever. But for the most part, all my Dominic Dijakovic stuff was just pro wrestling promos, like interviews backstage, stuff like that. And obviously Retribution was mostly that too. We got very few vignettes with Retribution. It was mostly just backstage stuff. So when I did this second run in NXT, it was more of those backstage vignettes. You know, I wanted to present something like that. So a lot of that is more of this like movie TV show style acting, where you do takes and you have lines, and there's different shots and they get different shots of it. So once I picked that up, I started taking acting class. So, and I still take acting class to this day. My acting coach, his name is Howard Fine, and he's one of the, if not he's arguably the best acting coach in the world, certainly in Los Angeles. Just a litany, just a massive list of all the top actors in Hollywood. This is their acting coach, and he does online classes too. So I don't have to live in Los Angeles to take these acting classes. So I've been taking them, and I've been studying, and my goal and plan is 100%, when I can no longer wrestle, to pursue acting in a very serious manner. As a wrestler right now, I'm not trying to split my time. I feel like it's almost a disservice to either of those career aspirations to say, oh, I'm gonna sometimes wrestle, I'm gonna sometimes act. I feel like I want to be prepared, and I want to train, and I want to use my free time to continue to improve as an actor. But by the time I'm ready to start actually performing as an actor, I want to have the skill set ready to begin, and then be able to dive headfirst in it and not have to worry about going back and forth from wrestling and stuff. So that's kind of my plan, and I know that's not the greatest plan in the world, and some people have advised against it, but it's how I feel. I'm just a very
it's a plan that works for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a very forward-thinking person. I become very hyper focused on whatever I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be very difficult for me to jump back and forth from both. But you know, I'm not the youngest spring chicken in the bunch anymore. So you know, I'm very, very cognizant and aware that my pro wrestling career probably has maybe a decade left on it,
mm-hmm.
give or take. So you know, I like to be well prepared. I like to surround myself with people who are excellent in whatever field they're in. I mean, that's exactly what I did with pro wrestling. I found the best school I could. I found the best wrestlers I could. I was with them. I hung around them. I talked to them. I reached out to every top star that I could for advice, and I've just inundated myself in it. And that's the best way to get excellent at anything. So when the time comes for acting, I've already done that with my training.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the same thing when it comes to transitioning to that in a full-time capacity.
I can see you in a Universal Soldier role, like they revamped that one. You know,
yeah, we've talked about it. You know, you try as an actor, and to train to become an actor, you want to prepare yourself for literally any role. But at the end of the day, you know, I present as I am. You know, so
mm-hmm.
that's gonna put you in contention for different varieties of roles, and kind of the person that I look like is basically like a movie villain, like a
Dolph Lundgren, and
yeah, I got you.
yeah.
So that's kind of I think that's more than likely where I would end up starting would be in something like that, something in that capacity, and that's what a lot of guys do. You know, that's like what Dave Bautista did, who's
right.
I met him one time, and we didn't talk very long, but obviously an outstanding actor. John Cena, who I've got to spend more time around, you know, he started in those sort of action hero roles on the other side of it. But that's basically what when you're a big guy and you have this background as a professional wrestler, Hollywood's going to look at you and they're going to say, all right, let's see what you got as a movie. Let's see what you got as the lead, as the supporting villain who dies after 3 minutes. Let's see if you can nail your 4 lines. Okay, you did it. You did a little better with The Rock. Same thing. He was the Scorpion King, and he just had a and then it branched off as it. So that's just kind of how those careers tend to begin.
Right.
That's kind of probably the direction I would lean in until, you know, they see that I can handle a little more, and then I can handle a little more, and it'll be on the job training and stuff like that. Not to say that I'm going to start in a feature-length film like those guys. I mean, those are all huge names, and they were big.
Listen, let
me
you
never know.
You never know.
Green Lantern.
It depends.
Listen,
yeah,
this
right.
is a good question, though. Marvel or DC?
Uh-huh.
It would.
I can see you as Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you as one of them.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have a preference really. I've seen all the movies and I enjoy both of them equally. But yeah, you know, it certainly plays a big role to have that background as like a WWE World Heavyweight Champion, right? So I mean, if I can get there one day, sure. I'm not opposed to going back to WWE. Obviously, I wanted to stay with WWE, but you know, they had a different vision, and maybe that vision involves me going away for a few years and then coming back. And a lot of the time when guys do that, they end up getting that sort of elevated status. So you know, I'm open to anything.
Speaking of that, I have a question now. If you don't want to answer it, that's perfectly fine. But you hear the criticisms of AEW and their lack of storytelling, and you know the way that most people transition from WWE to AEW, they're not really as successful as we would picture them to be. Is that something that sways your mind if AEW were to call you to to join their roster, or is that just some shit that fans make up and now everybody's feeding off of?
I think that there's such a range of thought on all sides of professional wrestling that I really didn't see a lot of until these past couple weeks, because I'm really getting the full treatment of feeling kind of both sides. Because for a long time, most of the sort of feedback and the people that I saw the most were very supportive of me as an entity, as a WWE entity, and they were mostly unsupportive of AEW in its existence. There was a little bit of variety in there. You would see some stuff pop up every so often, but for the most part, that's kind of how people reacted to me and my online presence or whatever version of me they're the most used to. Now that I've departed from WWE and I have been completely upfront and honest about my time there and some of the difficulties that I've had, I've found the other side of that coin very quickly, of the people who just want to trash me and say, get this guy out of here. He was never a star to begin with. This guy's a bum. He belongs with the other. And vice versa. I've also found the people who are, hey, this guy was backstage at Forbidden Door. He's friends with these guys. We'd love to see what he has to offer there. So now I'm getting the full spectrum of, okay, there's supporters and there's haters on this side, and there's supporters and there's haters on this side, and they are all very vocal when there's a dissension or a decision to be made or whatever. So you take all of it with a grain of salt. Personally, my opinion, this has always been my opinion. You'll never find a piece of footage that says otherwise. I've always thought the storytelling in both companies can be hit or miss, right? That's just the reality of it. Some stuff's really good, some stuff's really bad. I thought for example, I tweeted this out a couple days ago. I told Tony in person, and last night was affirmation of this. I think the Tony Storm stuff on AEW is the greatest television I've ever seen in my fucking life. Thank you so much for saying that. It's so tremendous. She's so talented. The stuff with Mariah May and her and
that heel turn that she did instantly as she got that belt was just chef's kiss.
Story arc that has happened throughout the past 6 or 8 months or however long this pairing has been together, to me, is just absolutely brilliant, right? That being said, I can pick out plenty of stuff from WWE that's tremendous, and I can pick out plenty of stuff from WWE that I didn't think was tremendous. I was in a lot of it. So and AEW, same thing. So it's all a mixed bag, right? It's all there's excellent wrestling on both sides. There's okay wrestling on both sides. There's excellent storytelling on both sides. There's okay storytelling on both sides. It's a varying levels of, and that's just part of it, right? Like, not everything's going to be excellent. And also keep in mind that all of this is subjective, right? So what's great to me might be shit to someone else. What's really good wrestling to me might be really awful wrestling to someone else, and vice versa. I watch my wrestling back with my eyes and I watch it through the eyes of a fan. First, I break it down as a performer, right, and as a student of the game. But then I'll watch it as a fan watching myself, because I want to be the wrestler that I would be a fan of. And when I watch my matches, I'm a fan of my matches. I wrestle a style that I enjoy as a fan. That being said, there's other people that probably think that's dog shit. I know they think it's dog shit. I hear about it a lot because when you leave WWE, people try to justify you being gone because they love WWE. And trust me, I get it. I love WWE too. So when someone leaves and says, hey, this company didn't want me anymore for whatever reason, your brain is going to try to justify that and be like, oh, well, there must be a reason why. He must do that, or he sucks, he doesn't belong here. And that makes it easier to comprehend, because it's a difficult thing to process. So I get it. I don't hold grudges. I'm not angry at anybody. I'm just inundated in all of it. And I try to keep, because at the end of the day, it's professional wrestling, right? It's fake underwear fighting. So I nobody
That's the first time I heard that one.
Yeah, nobody keeps perspective more than me, right? Because this is my passion. This is all I think about. I go to training. I talk to brand new students. I text my friends. My whole text list right now is just wrestling, wrestling, wrestling. It's all I think about all the time. So much so that my wife, bless her soul, it has nothing to do with wrestling and hates wrestling, and I love that about her, because it's my escape from wrestling. I can just go to my family, I can go to my kids, and none of them care about wrestling. And I'm like, good, thank God, because every waking second of every day, my brain is hyper focused on it. Like I said earlier, my brain gets hyper focused on this stuff, and so I'm just obsessed with it. So nobody thinks about it more than me. Nobody's more in tune with all of it. That being said, you need to keep yourself grounded if you want to see all perspectives. It's a very much an earned and learned trait to understand, to be able to sit back and say, this isn't my cup of tea, but let me see it from somebody else's point of view. Let me see how somebody else watches a match with lots of submissions, or a match with big theatrics, or something that wouldn't necessarily trend in my direction as something I like. But let me see how the audience reacts to it. Let me find out how my mom feels about it, because she's not a wrestling fan. So let me see how non-wrestling fans feel about it. Let me ask my wife what she thinks about it, even though she doesn't care about wrestling. Let me get the opinion of a non-wrestling fan. So when you keep that broad perspective, when you keep that open mind to interpreting, you can be a lot more in tune with all the variety that comes basically with this variety show.
Yeah. So, quick question: you mentioned the bad stuff that you was Retribution. Was it Vince Russo who killed Retribution, or was it
was it Vince Russo?
Yeah, did he sneak in and kill Retribution, or was that something that just
Vince Russo probably would have fucking loved Retribution. It's the exact kind of nonsense that he was probably all for.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
when you first started, it was like, okay, this is fresh, especially with the pandemic. You know, there was an empty arena. You guys are destroying the ring and all that, and then you signed that contract, and apparently that seemed like the death of you guys.
Yeah, so it's all just timing. It really is. I mean, timing and creative. There's pieces to it, right? So like the original, it kind of flowed like this until it fell off a cliff. For the most part, the reason it fell off a cliff, it's my understanding that it had a lot to do with the Fox network. This wasn't explained to me. This wasn't told to me. I heard this through the grapevine, and it kind of falls in line with how things transpired, right? Because for a month or so, we were on Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown. Even pay-per-views we were on. We were just on everything because that made sense, right? We're a bunch of anarchists trying to destroy the company. And then one day they were like, "Hey, you guys are exclusive to USA now. You're exclusive to Raw." And that was the first moment in our minds where we were like, "Uh-oh, that's not good," because and it came to our attention through the grapevine that Fox was no longer interested in Retribution as a presentation. Once we heard that was the first red flag that kind of told us, like, this might not go the way we want it to, because we're a group of anarchists trying to destroy the WWE and take the whole place over, but now we're only going to show up once a week. That seems like a disconnect to me. And from that point, the disconnects just kind of snowballed. I don't know if the masks and the names were like a response to us getting because it happened before the big reveal of the masks and the T-bar and Ali and all that stuff. So for all I know, maybe the plan was, because what happened, I'll try to condense this story because it's a long story. So long story short, basically Retribution debuted, and it was a bunch of extras and writers, mostly writers to my understanding, in these ski masks and these black outfits, and they were throwing Molotov cocktails and blowing up stuff and cutting the ring ropes, and that wasn't me. I wasn't part of that. What I was in the Orlando area, right? And there was kind of this middle ground where it was like we had to show up as fans sometimes. So basically, I've been told I'm on Raw. I've been called up to Raw, but it's this weird middle ground, and no one's quite sure who's where. And it's the middle of the pandemic, so there's all this confusion and stuff. And I just basically go straight to Vince McMahon because I'm like, hey, I'm on Raw now. You guys aren't using me in any capacity, but I have this idea for you guys to have this thing called Retribution, and I have an idea of how to make that the coolest thing ever. So I pitched my whole thing. I pitched the members I thought would fit well. I pitched the masks to be entrance masks that we take off and reveal ourselves, and we're the same characters that we used to be, but everything's shortened because we're scorned and we've been betrayed and we feel betrayed and we want to destroy the company, etc. I pitched all that straight to him. It kind of didn't happen for a little bit, but then it started to happen. I started to see it happening, and the people that I pitched were being introduced, and it felt like it was trending in that direction. And then, like I said, the Fox thing happened, and boom, that's when it was like, okay, mask, face paint, T-bar, shaved head, contacts, all this stuff was like given to us. The shaved head was my idea, and the contacts were my idea. The paint was Vince. The mask that stays on the whole time was Vince. The name T-bar was Vince. I say Vince, but like, I don't know who's
that creative, that creative team at the time.
You can blame him.
Basically,
ultimately he stamped his approval on it.
Right.
So yeah, and once we saw those things popping up, it was like, all right, we can tell that obviously we're cognizant that there's a lot of disconnects here, right? Like everybody knows it's me, but now we're calling me T-bar. There's no explanation as to why. So there's a ton of disconnects. The whole part where they've been signed to contracts. Why would you sign anarchists who want to destroy the company to contract? So lots of disconnects with the crowd that are just starting to build their momentum. But at the end of the day, we were like, okay, this is still Vince's thing. It's his company. He can push us to the moon. He can make me WWE champion tomorrow if he really wants to. We'll be fine. It's his pet. It's his pet project. It'll work if he wants it to work. Well, then whatever happened, and all of a sudden it became very clear to us that this was no longer his passion project. it became more of a service to start getting other things over, and that's when we were really like, like we're probably in trouble right now.
Yeah.
And it just started to trend in a not so great direction after that.
Because I mean, like the original idea of it was kind of interesting because it was a bunch of people that didn't get any respect and they wanted their spot, and
dude, listen,
we can get behind that.
I'll tell anyone who will listen to this, if you, and this is going to sound stupid in hindsight, and somebody's going to aggregate this and quote me, and there'll be 500 comments underneath it shitting on me, and I don't care. Keep this part of the quote in the quote so everybody knows what they're doing. If Retribution had been presented in the vision that I presented with Vince with, even from before, right? Because there was that part where like I wasn't even part of it. None of us were part of it. For the first 4 or so weeks, I don't remember the exact time, but the first 4 or so weeks, if you take that piece of it out, because we had nothing to do with it, you take that piece out and you let us being the people who were involved, myself,
right,
Mia Yim, Shane Haste, Mason D. Madden, and myself. If you took, did I say Ali? And whoever, all the people who ended up being in Retribution. If you took us and you gave us the reins from the very beginning, from the first time that Retribution showed up, and let us kind of, because Ali's so creative with his hacker stuff, and that could have been great too. And my whole thought process was, because I had just been killed off by Karrion Kross, if you guys remember the end of that run, that sort of built to him taking the title off of Keith Lee, who was my friend. So I had a whole backstory there where Cross choked me out, but Keith was there, and Keith watched me die, and he watched his best friend die. So it's this whole Rocky, Apollo Creed story arc.
Yeah.
Where now I lost consciousness, and my best friend betrayed me. So I'm looking for revenge on the company, and I want to get back at my best friend because he let me die. He watched me die. So I had, trust me when I say I wrote all of this out, and it was all there. I had backstory for Shane. I had backstory for Mace. I had all of it there, all of it ready to go. Here's why we hate the company. Here's why who we want to exact our revenge on. Here's how we're going to go about doing it. Here's what the debut looks like. We have the entrance masks. We take them off. It's just Dijak. It's just Dio. It's just Thorne. These big stylized all capital letters. If that had been presented the way that I know that those 5 people can creatively work together, combined with all of our talent in ring, because that's 5 of the best wrestlers in the world. If you could do it, all of it from that standpoint, I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, believe that we could have been one of the most memorable stables of all time. Would we be the NWO? No, I don't think we'd be the NWO. Would we be the Shield? Probably not. But somewhere a little bit below that, certainly in the conversation of these are really cool things. Like, I think it could have been better than the Nexus. I think it could have been.
I was actually thinking about that because your invasion more or less kind of reminded me of Nexus when they decided to invade, but it was like a different spin to it. So hearing you right now saying that everyone was going to have their own different story as to why they were just not, like why we're retaliating against the company and everything, I think that would have just made more sense than the shit that was given to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we worked our asses off trying to make all of it as good as we possibly could. Again, it's pro wrestling; it's subjective. Who knows? I think if we had been able to have more of a hand in the creative direction, that it could have got really, really over and been something special. That being said, we're in the Thunderdome in front of screens and stuff, right? I think the Hurt Business, for example, would have been so undeniably over in front of a live crowd that they would have had no choice but to continue to go down that path and pursue it. I think they got screwed by the fact that it's like, it's just video screens. Who knows? We're going to break you up. And then it's like, how do you argue that? Do I show them the Twitter trends? Do I show them the YouTube numbers? Because like Retribution did tremendous YouTube numbers. That doesn't mean it was good. It just means that was our only metric for feedback, So it was really hard in that era to get anything going. So I can't say with 100% certainty that it would have like flawlessly worked. Ultimately, it depends on the opinion of whoever was there, because we didn't have a live audience at the time. Maybe if we had a live audience, then the mask stuff with the face paint would have got over. I don't know. It's very hard to say in a world of professional wrestling where it's just full of nonsense that sometimes goes really well. Like at the end of the day, the Undertaker on paper is a very, very out there concept, right? If you just presented in 2024, like, yeah, we're gonna have this guy and his job is an Undertaker and he buries guys, but also he's a mythical wizard and he shoots lightning bolts out of it. People will be like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But then you watch execute it, and you're like, oh, actually, that's the greatest gimmick of all time, and he's the best wrestler of all time, right? Because that's the respect and homage that we pay and we lend credence to it.
Right.
So it's really hard to say something would have been great or wouldn't have been great without seeing it done in front of a live audience. And unfortunately, with the Thunderdome, we never had that. So that's why could be a contributing factor to why something like the Hurt Business didn't get what we all feel like it deserved.
Yeah,
that might be a contributing factor as to why Retribution didn't work. It might, in my opinion, it probably not. Like I don't. It's hard to say that all those dots would have been connected in front of a live crowd. That being said, maybe we would have got booed out of the building, and Vince would have loved that because we were getting booed and we're bad guys. I don't know. You know, it's all just this weird mishmash of.
Yeah, you would have worked off the reaction at least to have something to know where what direction to take it. But that does beg this question, though. Again, I know it can't be Retribution because that's a WWE property, but the idea of it being a version of that, could we see that with no strings attached now? Because multiple members are doing their thing on the independent circuit. Is that something, have you guys spoken about? I know Billy Ray brought that idea up the other day. Could we see that in another company?
I'm already working on it.
There you go.
When we're talking about these guys, we're talking about my actual best friends in real life. So we all gravitate towards each other because of our passion for wrestling, and because we feel like we're in similar boats in terms of where we were in NXT and then where we were on the main roster and now where we are in our independent career. And a lot of my friends are now signed to AEW and Ring of Honor, which just came out the other day. So it feels like there's a lot of parallels in our lives. We talk all the time. Just literally 2 minutes before I hopped on this call, I was sending them music samples from different things we've been working with bands and stuff like that. So that when I say that our minds are always churning and always, that's why we're all best friends, because we can't stop moving forward. We can't stop aspiring for more. We can't stop thinking of what could be and when we don't have to get that stuff like approved. Well, they might now because they're with AEW and stuff. But
yeah,
it feels like there's more
leeway.
Yeah, just from my experience and from being backstage at AEW and talking to some of those guys, it feels like there's more there's a little bit more leeway in terms of like, hey, try something in your creative realm, and we'll see if it works. And if it doesn't, then you know that it's different. It's just different approaches. He talked about it perfectly the other day, and everybody took it as him shitting on AEW. I didn't take it as him shitting on AEW. I took it as him saying, like, I've been under this umbrella for a long time, and right now I'm enjoying this umbrella. And I'll say to his credit, this umbrella, the WWE umbrella, when they're behind you, is a really good fucking feeling. They're thinking about you. They're giving you ideas. They're giving you this. They're giving you that. And you got all these brilliant creative minds. You know, the people in production and backstage WWE are brilliant human beings. I mean, fucking Shawn Michaels, the greatest wrestler of all time, just spitballing ideas and stuff like that. You know, and the production team between Jimmy and Borash and those guys, they're so excellent at what they do.
Yeah.
That when there's a thought, and that's like, hey, let's get this thought out there and let's do it and let's present it this way. And you have all these different ideas coming in. It's like, that's a great feeling, because it's like you become like the gatekeeper of like awesome ideas. Like, I got to choose which awesome idea I'm going to. And so I get why because obviously they have huge plans for him. He's the NXT fucking champion after like 1 month. So that's a really good feeling. If you're not getting that and you're in WWE, that's a really stifling feeling. That's a really
you're like, what the fuck?
It's a difficult feeling because you have all these ideas and you're like, please, can we try them? And they're like, yeah, maybe. And you're like, oh, fuck, you know. But so whereas if you're in AEW, then it's going to trend a little bit more and like, hey, the buck's on you, and come up with your own stuff. And for some guys who need more of that, like just tell me what to do and I'll go get it over, that might be a little tougher. So, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. I feel like us, and with our mindset and the way that we want to progress and the way that we work together, I feel like we can create some special stuff, and you're probably going to see it sooner rather than later.
Nice.
That's cool. Because I know that in the beginning of like what Retribution and everything like that, you guys also had worked with Mercedes Martinez, as she was also the second female besides Mia Yim in there. Do we also see Mercedes possibly tangling it up with you guys as well?
I'll be honest, I don't know her very, very well.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, she was there maybe for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
she
think
knows Toe.
Yeah,
So.
she thinks I'm cute.
like 2 weeks, and she was like, "I'm out.
I'm out of here."
Hindsight.
I'm not opposed to it, right? I know she.
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't even know what her wasn't she Ring of Honor Women's Champion or something like.
Yep.
Yes.
Is she still?
No.
No.
No, currently it's Athena is the current
champion, so right.
Okay, so I didn't know that Athena was the champion. Yeah, I did. I'll be honest. I'm completely unsure of what Mercedes Martinez's contract status is, or what she's doing, or what she's up to. I know. I think she has kids, and maybe she's. I don't even. I honestly don't know at all. I'm not
pick out like a female, like a dominant female for this action.
If she were interested in it, I would have no. I mean, we have each other's number. We were for the 14 days she was part of it. We were texting each other quite a bit. But
he's gonna go check to see if it works.
I'll put it this way: I'd be very surprised.
Okay, but if you could pick out like a female, dominant factor, who would it be?
Told you he's gonna hit the hard-hitting questions.
That's a great question, because I've never thought of anyone outside of Mia, because she's always been like our ride or die, and obviously that's not an option right now. She's doing a really good job with NXT.
Great overall performer, just down to earth outside of the ring too. So she's just phenomenal.
Yeah, she's tremendous. That's it's an excellent question. That I don't have an answer to right now. I haven't given it a ton of thought really. I just know that just based on being around Mercedes Martinez, that is, when she was in the group, I'd be very surprised if she wanted to be part of a vigilante type stable. Right. It felt. I think she left because it was so in contrast to like her values and how I don't know that. I mean, I don't think that. I know that. I know that's why she told us that's why she was leaving. And we all respected that. We were like, listen. it's not like we desperately wanted to be in this group as it was being presented at that time. But yeah, so I'd be surprised, but listen, stranger things have happened in the world of professional wrestling, so I don't think any of us are opposed to it in any capacity.
Okay, that works.
Not bad.
So then, when you guys get together, I'm sorry to cut you off, Kenny, but when you guys get together, are you gonna come back to WWE as a full group and dismantle the bloodline, or?
Jeez.
I'm not opposed to it. I'd be surprised if the bloodline is still like a thing by the time we're invited back to WWE. We're really my body is still warm from the.
Yeah, but this is a big family. There's about 42 other people that they're about to sign.
Today is July 11th. My contract ended on June 28th, so we're not even too removed from me being pretty much told like we don't need you here in WWE anymore. So to already book my return as a stable is really counting.
Hey, like we said,
the wheels move fast.
You never know. The craziest thing could still be that call on Monday. Hey, we still need you.
I don't think that far ahead.
Well, Kenny, you had a question?
Yeah. So for me, I always like to get to know the person like behind the name, right? So like my question to you is, because you're a dad, right? Have you ever looked at your kids and said, that has to be my wife's side of the family, because there's no way that you guys got that from me?
Damn.
I think my children are a perfect combination of me and my wife, because my wife are very much like a yin and a yang. She is very much a type A personality. I'm a type B personality. So we complement each other in so many unique ways. She's extremely conservative, not politically, but just like monetarily more than anything else. She's very like like conservative, and I'm more like spend money to make money. So we very much kind of complement each other in a lot of variety of ways, where we run everything by each other and get the alternative viewpoint. So my kids really get like the best of both worlds in terms of perspective.
That's awesome to hear.
In terms of everything that comes their way. So yeah, so we're I'm a father and a family man first and foremost. Everything that I do, every decision that I make, every pro wrestling thing, every tweet that I put out, whether it's good or bad or trying to create controversy or lashing out at someone or praising someone, whatever it is, every single thing I do is for the betterment of my family and my wife and my children, because that's my only concern, right? If somebody told me tomorrow that my wife and kids would be better off with me never thinking about pro wrestling again, the thought would never cross my mind ever again, because that's how much I think about them. That's how much I care about them. I just believe that everything that I do is in support of my career. My career supports them as human beings. So that's why I'm so passionate about everything, because they're my why. They're my driving and my motivation. And every time I think about renewing a contract or trying to be somewhere else or making a name for myself or getting over online or creating a buzz with it's all to make their lives better. That's my only concern in life. So that's kind of where my brain operates from, a place from. That's kind of the fuel that goes into the machine that is a constantly churning process.
Okay. Not bad, not bad. Ray over here, he has like 200 kids. Any advice? Any father advice you can give to him?
Yeah, because he doesn't know any of them. And
no. He
Oh, Jesus.
more in debt than anybody else in here. Terrible.
Kids are so expensive, man.
Yeah, they are.
So expensive.
The older they get, the more expensive they get.
I do not know how people do it, because people, you can look up how much money WWE wrestlers are making, and you look at that number and you think, oh my God, that's the reality of a WWE wrestler financially. First of all, the difference between if you have children, if you don't have children, is just dramatic, right? It's like it's the difference between, oh, I can save a ton of money and not so much anymore. You can save some money, but like you got to spend quite a bit of money on these kids. The other piece of it that I think people miss out on is that as a wrestler, from a financial standpoint, you got to think in terms of your career, because your career is finite, right? You can't wrestle forever, and if you do try to wrestle forever, it's going to get ugly quick, right? Like unless you're Ric Flair and you're the most over guy in the world, and you can just wrestle until you're 75 because you walk out and you're Ric Flair, and it's like nobody really cares anymore what's happening at that point in the ring. It's like, oh shit, it's Ric Flair. So if you get to that point, fine. Almost all wrestlers are not at that point, and probably only the top like 2% get to the point where past the age of like 45 or 46, you still come out and get a pop and people appreciate you just for existing. So if you think about most wrestlers, like that big 95-98% of us that are just like, hey, we got to have good matches, we got to be good, we got to do, then you got to think that this probably ends around your mid 40s, right? Maybe 47, 48 if you're lucky. By the time you hit 50, you're either over or you're struggling in ring, right? That's basically from a physicality standpoint. That's kind of where you're at. And if you're not over, you're probably not getting booked much. So if you're relying on that income still at that age, which again is like maybe 45, maybe 46, 47, and you still don't have enough money saved to live for your family, to live comfortably for the next, I don't know, 30 years, or let's call it 20 years, you're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
That's why when you look at those contracts, you got to say to yourself, is that enough money to make to live off of, not just for a little bit of time until you retire and you get your pension, because we don't get that. We don't get a retirement and a pension and all that stuff. We just have to make enough money so that we can basically retire at like 45. That's a lot of money. you got to make quite a bit of money in a small amount of time. And if you have 2 kids, now it's even more money. You got to make a shitload of money by the time you're 45. Otherwise, you're hoping that you're over enough to be the guy on Comic Cons, like signing stuff, or you're hoping that you're over enough that your music hits and you walk out and you get a huge pop and you can just kind of go through the motion. You're hoping that you're that level of, but if you're not, now you're in trouble, right? So that's why I say you can't look at those contracts and just say, oh, that's a ton of money. Because yes, it's a ton of money, but you got to think, for every 1 wrestler a year, that's like 4 regular people a year, because we can't do this forever. We can't do this job forever. That's why you hopefully have to have plans like, maybe I'll be an actor, maybe I'll do this. But the bottom line is, we're 1 injury away from that all just fucking ending right away. And then it's like, oh boy, I've put 15 years into this and I have nothing to show for it. So it's this weird sort of double-edged sword of like, it's something to digest and think about when you're thinking about that piece of it, that I think, quite frankly, a lot of wrestlers don't think about. I know for sure that the fans don't think about it, because I get blasted for this all the time, right? I did an interview with Forbes like 5 days ago where I was talking about money and contract, and somebody aggregated it and put it online. And when I tell you that they shit all over my life because of what I said about the WWE contracts and the pay and stuff like that, I got destroyed for it. I got destroyed for it. And
some
maybe
people don't want to put the positivity shit out. They just want to put the negative shit out because it's clickbait.
A lot of the time, yeah. A lot of the time. But yeah, I mean that it's all perspective. Just have the full perspective when you're looking at it. At the end of the day, people have lives and children and things like that. And you gotta take every circumstance into account, right? So that's just part of it.
Yeah, for real. And I hate when these assholes think they know everything. It's like, who are they to dispute what you said in your experience? Like, what kind of shit is that?
A lot of the time, I'll see a quote from mine pop up, and I'll see the comments underneath, and part of me like reads each one, and a lot of them say the same stuff. And I start to get angry and frustrated, but then it's like, at the end of the day, this is like 1 second of this person's day. They just read a comment, and then they gave their thoughts on it, and then they went and had an ice cream sandwich or whatever.
Yeah,
and they gave no thought to it. There was no. It was just like, oh, he said that. You suck, and then they go do something else. So really, but for me, like, I read it and I see that comment, and then another one, and I'm like, oh man, the whole world hates me, and they're all out to get me, and everybody thinks I'm a dumbass, and they just don't understand. They didn't hear me in context. They don't know the full. I'm having all these thoughts, but at the end of the day, it's like they don't actually care. Nobody actually cares. It's just like they made one comment and then went to work or whatever. So it's like, why am I going to invest all my time and energy into someone's fleeting thought about something that they didn't even understand?
Yeah.
They didn't even give it 5 seconds thought after.
Yeah.
I'm going to dedicate like hours of time and energy to like
hoping no reason to dwell on it. It's just
and hoping that I can like change their opinion. It's like, no, they don't care, and that's fine. You don't have to care. Why should you care? I'm a little quote in a thing that you saw. Like, who cares? So I'm getting a lot better at just seeing that stuff and being like, whatever. None of these people actually care. Nobody actually cares. Even the people who support me, it's like they saw a nice match and it's like, hey, that was fun, like good match. And then I read like 100 of those and I'm like, yes, I'm the best. I'm the greatest. It feels so good. At the end of the day, it was 2 seconds of the day, and they wrote something and they enjoyed the fake fight, and that was it. So I try not to give too much time and energy outside of the people who really need my time and energy, which is first and foremost my kids, like I said, my wife, and then the people who are actually investing time and energy into me and to my brand, like the four of you, for example. You're investing time and energy into me, so I'm investing time and energy into you. The promoters who email me and book me for their shows, they send me stuff. I'm gonna invest time and energy back into them. I care what their opinions are. I care how they feel about what I'm doing. And if you guys have feedback about what I'm doing, and I listen to that because that matters to me, because I know that what I'm doing matters to you. So that's kind of how I gauge how I'm going to react to different things and different situations now, because I think that's so pivotal in these sort of positions that I find myself in, because you can't take it all in and give it all back, if that makes sense.
No, definitely, especially with the amount of time you have now. Like, even again, the conversation we had was 9 days ago, and now it's been like, since then, I think you've been announced for like 10 more matches at this point.
A lot, yeah. A lot of
it just keeps coming out. Even as we speak right now, I think Warriors of Wrestling just announced you for their December show. So it's like it just keeps going.
Yeah,
like,
I got a text about that from the promoter.
Like it just keeps going as the minutes and hours go by.
There you go. I was like, didn't they posted it up? Yeah.
My wife has been such an angel. She saw how much I was struggling on the first two, because she's been I've been with my wife for 14 years now.
Okay.
God bless.
We got married 8 years ago. So she's been with me throughout my whole the first time I went to her in 2012. We'd been together for 2 years. We were already living together, and I said, I'm thinking about being a pro wrestler. And she's like, what? You know, so she's been with me since day one of all of this. So she watched me go through the indies and come up and struggle and drive all over the place and lose money and all of it, to the point where I was finally getting booked places, and so I've handled this part of it for a long time. And then when this came around, this was the most I've ever, been just bombarded with emails and booking and stuff. And she saw how much I was struggling with it, because my head was spinning. My inbox had 200 people in it, and I was struggling to order. But like I said, she's a type A personality, and I'm type B. So she just, without even asking me, just got my emails and took all of them and started answering all of them and lining it up and negotiating for me and booking dates and all this stuff. So suddenly dates just started like popping up on calendars, and she would run it by me and be like, hey, do you want to work here for X amount of dollars? And it's this far away, and you'll be going here the next day. And I'd be like, yep, sounds good. And that'd be the most I heard. So right now, when you guys announce something like that, this is like he probably knows more about it than I do, because she's
exactly.
There you go. Now he knows he's going. He'll be in New York in December.
Yeah,
breaking news.
I'm excited.
Oh man,
for all of it, especially New York. Anything that I can drive, because like I said, I'm on planes so much. I gotta. Oh my god! I just booked a week where it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think it's like Delaware. The flight is just outrageous. It's like drive to Delaware, drive to Philly, fly from Philly to Denver to Edmonton, time change, show there, red eye back to Boston, drive from Boston over to the show in Worcester back to Boston back, international flight other direction to London, do a show in London, fly back to Boston, all within the span of 4 days. And I was looking at this thing, and I'm like, my brain is exploding and melting out of my ears looking at this schedule. But I'm like, all right, look, I agreed to this stuff, so like I have to do it. I have to figure out a way to get from A to B to D.
How do you still perform with all that like jet lag and travel and all that? Because that's got to take a toll on the body also.
Yeah. Wrestling's the easy part. It really is. I could wrestle. I could call a match, and I could wrestle a match, and it'll be a great match, and I could do it blindfolded in my sleep with 0 hours of sleep. I could probably do it. Intoxicated if I needed to. I never have. I would never do that. But wrestling at this point in a professional wrestling ring is such my comfort zone that I can't think of a situation where I wouldn't be at my A game at my 100% best. It doesn't matter how tired I am. It doesn't matter how drained I am. It doesn't matter how many times I've done it. The second the bell rings, I'm in my zone and I'm in my comfort zone and everything else goes out the window. When the bell ends, now I'm in trouble, right? So I can't answer that question in terms of like getting to the venue and sleeping 0 hours and then being on a plane and staring at the back and my knees hurt and my legs are cramped like this and all that's going to be a complete fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Once the bell rings, I'll be good. The fans will get 100% of me. They'll get my best performance every single night because I don't know how else to do it. I don't have an alternative in my body. It's just not even an option. Everything else, traveling, talking to people, I'm gonna phone all that shit in so bad. You're gonna get the worst. You're gonna get the worst version of me. I'm gonna be a fucking nightmare to be around. So apologies in advance to the promoters that are on the tail end of that tour.
So if there's any asshole fans out there that's waiting for him at the airport,
fan interaction is gonna be a fucking catastrophe.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna be like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm gonna do a real shitty signature. So I super apologies in advance to everyone in that tour. That's gonna be fucking pulling teeth. I'm gonna do my very best, but it's gonna be a nightmare. The in ring, I promise you, will be the best match you ever see.
There you go.
There you go. That's
before you go, because I know you have other obligations and being selfish, I'll keep you here all 3 hours, but I know you got to go do other stuff. But if a fan came up to you in the airport with a wrestling ring and said, come on in here, would that be a better situation than asking for an autograph or a picture?
With a wrestling ring? No.
Yeah, he just pulled up. He's like, come on, one-on-one.
Unfortunately for them, over the course of 12 years, I've learned my value, and I know I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I as much as I love it and as much as I would do it for free, I know that if I bumped and hurt myself or something like that, I would that would cost my family money. And I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. My body is my job and my commodity, so I have to take care of that as best as I can. So I always focus on that. That's why I stick by certain thresholds with promoters and rates and things like that as best I can. You know, it depends on the day of the week and all that stuff. A little bit of flexibility, but for the most part, you know, I this is how much it matters to me and my family. So I'm gonna value it at that capacity. That being said, if you're at an airport or something, I've never been so overwhelmed at an airport that there was one time where I was trying to catch a flight and I was like, oh my God, I got to finish these signatures or whatever. But I'm very much the guy who wants to sign everything and which I get why there's people who don't, because there's wrestlers who are way more over than me. Like I know Rhea Ripley, who's a friend of mine, gets fucking swamped at airports. So like I don't blame her for being like, here's the rules, like you only get X amount of signatures. I get that totally. So I don't blame anyone else. I've never been that over to the point where I get mobbed. So if someone comes up to me with like a sheet of cards or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking sign all that. And I know you're just gonna go sell these, but I don't give a shit. Like if I can make some dude like an extra $100 or whatever, just because I'm signing shit, it's like, fine, whatever. Now I'll probably have to be a little more selective on that because I do have people who are paying me and they're paying me, you know, a lot of money. A lot of money. It sounds like I'm bragging about how much money I'm making. It's money that they are investing in me to get a return on. And if they're going to invest in me to get a return on their investment, then I can't be out there signing every guy at the airport's 1 million cards, because then the cards that I sign for this person who's paying me to get a return on whatever they're investing on me, right? Because it's all just, they're trying to make money, I'm trying to make money, and we're trying to figure out how much this stuff is worth. If I sign everything that exists on the planet, then that value goes down, and then that is not making the return on investment. So I need to start taking that into account way more than I did in WWE, because in WWE I didn't make any of that money. So I was just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. you guys need to make money. You need to make more money. You need to make some money. And I just make.
You were just signing away, yeah. That's
now I need to worry a little bit more about that, because now there's people who are investing time and money in me, and like I said earlier, I need to worry about those people rather than people who are just coming up to me at an airport and being like, "Hey, can you give me some money?" And it's like, "Well, I'm like 1 second of your day, so no, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'll sign one for you." But then so I need to consider that a little more. So there's the longest answer ever to your fun.
Hey, listen.
No, it works though. It's
I can
something
sit here
that's
and
like,
listen to you talk all day, bro.
But we're definitely gonna give you the big screen so that way you can go ahead and promote absolutely anything and everything that you want. We appreciate you coming on, just joining us with Wrestling with Knuckleheads. Ladies and gentlemen, Donovan Dijak over here with us. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, so all my social media handles are still all the same. I haven't changed them yet. I'm either too lazy or too bored, or I just don't even know how to do it. Honestly, I haven't thought much about it. It's just at Dijak WWE. I'm pretty much everything. I'll change it someday. Who knows when? If you want to book me, if you want to have me on your show, or you want to do an interview, you can email me at bookdijak@gmail.com. You can check out all my stuff online, all my upcoming appearances and stuff like that will be probably on my Twitter. You can check it out there. I'll get a little better about posting where I'm going to be coming up and stuff like that. I should probably take care of that tomorrow, actually, because I have 2 shows this weekend that I haven't personally advertised yet. But yeah, if you're at those shows, you can come up to me. You can buy a picture, you can buy a t-shirt, you can buy this t-shirt, which I think is a funny t-shirt because it says ratio and it's me giving a middle finger. So yeah, you can come say, or you can just come say hi, and that's free, and that's awesome. So I like to say hi to everyone. I like to meet everyone. I'm gonna do the groundwork. We're gonna go place to place, and I'm gonna meet every single person who wants to meet me. That's my goal. So that's what we're gonna do.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Appreciate you coming on, and right now you're a knucklehead for life. So if you don't get the retribution back together, you can get the knuckleheads back together. We'll be in your corner. We'll take on the bloodline for you.
Awesome. Will I see you guys at Warriors of Wrestling?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, definitely,
Awesome.
definitely.
Yeah,
make sure you come up and say hi.
definitely.
Definitely. Thank you again, man. Have a good one.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Take it easy.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Donovan. Yes! We did that. I need to go get a fan. I'm sweating my ass off here. It's hot. Now I gotta understand I don't have AC here. I'm like sweating. I got titties that are sweating. I don't got tits like that to be sweating off. They're gonna fall off.
Shout outs to everybody on Gigi's block for not car racing.
Yo, facts.
Yeah.
Not once did Vin Diesel pass by.
Whoa. I had this microphone on mute a lot of the time.
Okay.
I heard it 2, 3, 40 blocks down, and I was like, no.
It would have been so. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Loki.
Thank you, Mr. Loki.
Yeah.
Mr. Loki, appreciate it, bro.
I'm looking at the time. I'm like, shit. He told me he got another interview at 10. I was like, I'll keep your ass here, but I didn't want to. Other people are expecting him. I was like, it'd be fucked up if he missed our interview because he was. So I was like, all right.
You, Dijak, for giving us the extra time. You didn't have to. We really genuinely appreciate it.
Yeah.
For the people. My bad. We're not mad though.
Nah. Yeah. I mean,
you can say it later. You ain't gonna air it now anyway. So. Whoops.
Word.
So,
Word.
While Gigi's getting her AC fan stuff situated, so I finally get you here. It's me and you, Ray. You
want me to leave?
You can excuse yourself.
Damn. I'll be back, I guess.
All right. Goodbye. So, Money in the Bank happened.
Yeah.
And John Cena, he comes out and he announces his retirement. How many bottles of champagne did you pop that night? I cried when I heard the news. I had tears in my eyes. I said, John, don't go. He said, my time is up. Your time is now. And that was it.
My man, I'm over here like, yo, you could have wrote this in a letter.
Right.
you know, and then put this shit on Twitter or something like that. We didn't need 45 minutes of a promo on Money in the Bank. You know what I'm saying? And
Ray,
then the man goes,
Ray, get him off my screen, please.
And then
thanks. Listen.
And then the man goes,
why is he still talking? Get him off my screen.
Look. The man goes, I'm gonna retire, but next year. It's like, yo, this is gonna be the longest retirement in the world. Like,
you know what? No, I'm happy about that. I'm happy about
No,
that.
I get it, but it was like, I'm gonna retire, and everyone thought he was retiring at WrestleMania. And then the press conference, he goes, "Oh no, this is gonna be my last WrestleMania. I'm not retiring at WrestleMania."
Yo, no joke. I was looking at fucking flights to Vegas. I was like, if that was it, I was going to Vegas.
Well, listen, I already promised. I told DJ that I am gonna go to WrestleMania, and I have to go now for the simple fact that Cena is. This is his last match. This is the last opportunity that I'm going to get to see John Cena wrestle in person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
how mad are you guys gonna be when he wrestles Hulk Hogan and loses at WrestleMania?
Nah,
you know what?
He's wrestling anyone. I think it's Randy, man.
Yeah. If he loses, I don't care. I just want to see the match. I don't care who. I don't care who is against.
Yo, for real. Ticket prices are gonna go up every.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna do. He's gonna listen. He's gonna do a tour.
Yeah, no,
and he's gonna like that when he comes to New York. Okay, I'm gonna get my sign ready. John, please don't go. Okay, I'm gonna dress in my whole John Cena outfit. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just be like, "No, go, please, just stick around." No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a sign that says that slowly. Please don't go that slowly. Hurry up.
That's fucked up. Yo, that's the end of my childhood right there, man. All those guys I grew up on. Are just
listen, I get it.
This is damn.
I get it, and depending on how they do it, I'm not mad that he's gonna have a retirement tour. Because like Ray, and he's a whole generational talent. Like he's that generation's Hogan, Austin, The Rock. You know what I'm saying? Like if he needs the Derek Jeter send off,
right?
You know, which is what it is. But it was one of those things. I'm like, I think Raw would have been a better spot for this. And Money in the Bank, you know, I kind of was like, we could have had another match here.
Well, that's the thing too. You know what it is?
That could have been safe for Monday Night Raw.
That was a long promo.
It was.
Well, they also didn't have that many matches anyway, so it's like it fits for that card. Like Triple H is going with the 5-match format, which is like, can we get a nice balance? Because like I feel like Tony Khan has given us too many matches, and then Triple H is not giving us enough.
It's 2-day pay-per-view.
It's like I think a nice 7 matches works, and that's for any wrestling program, be it WWE, be it AEW, be it independent wrestling. Because some of these indie cards be like, give us a nice 7 matches. 7 matches, you can tell the stories you need to, you can get everything you need done, and it fits. Like some of these cards, it's like, yo, take it home.
Yeah,
because I don't want to be here for another 5 hours. You know,
and a lot of it is like some of these matches are just thrown together.
Yeah.
Like if you had stories or if you had reasons for every single match to be on the pay-per-view, all right, cool, I get it. Yo, there's 72 matches and they promoted all 72 matches at Dynamite and Collision and Rampage and all that other stuff. Let's do this. I'm in for this. Yeah. But when they go, we got Bryan Danielson versus Okada, and the rest of these matches are just thrown together. Like, damn, son, this reminds me of a UFC. I might have to start investing my time in watching AEW at 1:00 in the afternoon. Shit.
Yo, but even for UFC, it's like, yo, at least there's some build up.
Nah, yeah. But shit. I mean, I'm not, yo, if we talking about Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent, if that is the word I can use.
Yeah.
About Drew McIntyre winning and wasting the Money in the Bank. Just because I don't think you needed all of that to push CM Punk.
Nope.
And Drew McIntyre.
That was
and also, I don't think you needed that to push CM Punk and Seth Rollins.
Nope.
Because not for nothing, Drew McIntyre has been suspended. If CM Punk comes out talking shit, here goes Seth Rollins. He no longer gets a title shot against Damian Priest. Perfect for him to go, yo, get off my show. And then they they start beefing. But then instantly Damian Priest like, fuck all that shit. You still gonna get a title shot. Like, wait a minute.
What happened to the conversation we just had?
Yeah, because I don't think Seth would have been like, well, you know, you could still be a part of the Judgment Day, even though you lost. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro.
And that's the thing I was gonna say. Like that was my only defense of why they need to do all the bullshit that they did, was because of all the little stipulations that they added. That it's like, fuck, now you booked yourself into a corner here.
Yeah.
But the fact that Monday basically said, fuck all those stipulations we said.
Yeah. Yep. Fuck what you heard.
What was the point?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, how are you gonna tell me you did all this to make sure you hit all those stipulations, and then Monday said, hey, you remember what we said? Nah, just dry erase that from the board here. And this is now where we're going.
You know, like, I think they're starting to do that shit a lot. We killed Chad Gable.
We didn't kill Chad Gable.
We gave him a little scratch.
Next Monday, he came back out with a Band-Aid.
Yeah. I'm like, you gave him a little boo-boo.
Yo, he sold the Money in the Bank injury more. Because he fucked himself up at Money in the Bank. Like, I thought my guy broke his nose. The way he took that front bump off the fucking top of when he was holding on to the briefcase.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, in video games, you take that bump cleaner.
Yeah.
Because that's usually, you ever see how they do it in 2K? That's usually the bump.
Yep.
That's like, oh, fuck, you about to die. And you somehow take that cleaner than what Chad Gable did. Because Chad just said, fuck it.
Fuck it.
And boom, he didn't cover up. I was like, what are you doing?
The best way to break your fall is with your face.
Yep.
Bro, he went face first. I was like, oh, there goes his nose. And nope, his chest was wrapped up, which he did better than when he fucking got killed. Because at least it's like, oh, okay, he's injured.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he had a bullet hole after the wide 6, and somehow he only has a Band-Aid.
But the thing about it is that everybody always thinks that it's a bullet hole, right? But it's just, he just got cut. On
Kenny.
He just got cut by a bullet.
You're going to tell me that wasn't a bullet hole?
No.
Kenny. We saw it. We all saw it. It looked like a bullet.
Nah.
He got shot in the fucking head, bro.
You know what it is? Chad Gable was trying to be like Inspector Lee in Rush Hour, and he was trying to catch a bullet with his teeth, but it got him in the head.
Crazy.
Word. Yeah, no, we got the interview we had with Dijak was dope. Hopefully you see it.
That was fun.
But yeah,
that was fun. Definitely catch the replay, y'all, after this.
Yeah, I wanted something a little different. You know, we got to see him laugh and joke with us. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. It was definitely different, I think, than anything he's had before, just with certain questions and certain directions of it.
Right.
Word.
I'm glad we were able to go in depth with the retribution stuff, because I feel like, especially when it happens on the indies or if it happens in AEW, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, especially because now that was announced this week, MXM are signed to AEW/ROH.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be cool to see what happens with them now.
Okay.
So,
you know, there was rumors that Vince Russo came back just to kill the Retribution. So I had to get that handled.
Bring that up, and you could tell Dijak is just like he wanted to laugh so hard because it's like that was so random. Vince Russo out of all fucking people, and it's like, fuck yeah, he probably would have loved to book some shit like that, but then randomly on a Monday be like, yeah, we're gonna kill this because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
shit.
No, the thing is, Vince Russo also would have been like, yeah, we're gonna do this. 5 minutes later, we're not doing this no more. Like, I was listening to the Booker T interview.
Yeah.
And bro, the night to the last 5 minutes, Booker T didn't know he was becoming world champion under Vince Russo's creative.
You know,
imagine that bullshit.
So I was watching Eric Bischoff's podcast from a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
You know, they always ask him about who killed WCW.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him, was like, so what was the pitch that Vince Russo had for the idea? And Eric Bischoff goes, that was the pitch he gave us. All the shit he said about Hogan and going out there and all that other shit, that wasn't. Like, everything that he fucking said was not what he told us he was going to do. But him going out there saying, fuck Hogan, we're going to do a new champion, that was the idea.
Okay.
But him burying Hogan all that and doing all that shit, he went on his own liberties doing that.
Yeah.
And they had already left the arena because that was what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because the idea was supposed to be Hogan come back, right? Like
yeah, they were gonna do a tournament.
Yeah.
And the winner of the tournament was gonna get greeted to Hogan coming back, going, "I'm the real champion." And then it was gonna be like Hogan versus the winner of the tournament because they wanted to make the title more like prestigious again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, it's always fun to see the whole "Who Killed WCW" thing.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you're like, I lived this whole thing, and it's true. It's like it's not one person.
That's the thing too.
That a lot of mistakes there.
I think that's the one thing that people have to understand is that there is no one person answer or one thing answer, because there was a lot of things that ended up continuously killing WCW. It's a lot of things because I know like everyone wants to blame Heyman for why ECW failed.
Yeah,
and it's like no, there's a lot of things.
Money.
It was money and it was the network. Like
Yeah.
WCW had the luxury of the network supported them. You know, ECW didn't.
Yeah.
ECW was basically told, "Fuck it," you know. And even with WCW though, that it was funny because they had offers that would have made them profitable and made them be able to continue. And the minute Vince offered, I think, chump change, and they were like, "Here you go."
Yeah, no, because Eric had other companies that were going to invest in WCW.
That's what I'm saying.
And,
like, imagine that fucking they had a lot more money on the table.
Yeah, because I think AOL was like, "Yo, get this shit off our program," and AEW has unlimited money.
They have
compared to WCW. You know what I'm saying? From what I'm hearing.
But that's the thing. WCW had that at the beginning too. That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
For now, AEW has liberties, but the issue is, they
remember,
have to become profitable.
They also because remember they were allocating money from Nitro and WCW to do Thunder and all the other shit. So they were basically spending their own money to make all this shit happen instead of for TBS. Short-sighted booking, bad contracts, and horrible executives. Yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of things. Yo, dude, that shit sparked the whole Bret Hart Goldberg situation again. And do you know that Stevie Richards?
Yeah,
he had a video of the whole situation, and he showed Goldust held Bret Hart's leg, and he still smacked his head on the ground. And he's like, it's not holding the leg that guarantees that you don't hurt yourself, because he showed an instance where Bret Hart did that turnbuckle figure 4.
Yeah,
Goldust is holding his leg, and he still smacked himself on the head. And he's like, bro, shit happens. Like you had other matches. Like he wrestled with concussions right after that, and that doesn't. But he made a point. He's like, at what point does Goldberg have to stop apologizing?
That's the thing too. That it's like, I get it, but there's also a point where Draws,
appreciate you, Leon,
forgave D'Lo.
Yeah,
and that is an injury where that was it. Like, Bret Hart has wrestled since. Bret Hart is still able to do appearances. Bret Hart is still living a normal life. You know? Yes, there's still going to be some nagging stuff from that situation. Also, just injuries in general. But that, unfortunately, is also a part of wrestling. There's a lot of guys that you'll see that they'll say they don't walk the same, they don't talk the same. And that's anyone that's also anyone that's been in the business. Like, shit, I still say certain days my fucking neck hurts. And there's shit that, bro, you see, I've showed you my shoulder problem. Like, bro, both of my shoulders are fucked up. And it's a thing of, this is what wrestling does. This is, your body's not supposed to take this. No matter how you look at it, your body's not supposed to go through this. And all the stuff you do, like Dijak was saying, the travel. And I think it was Speedball. Yeah, Speedball Mike Bailey said this, and Crowbar agreed. And Crowbar is also a registered, he's a PT, a physical therapist. And he talked about that, how they legit, a lot of the stuff that really fucks up wrestlers is more of the outside stuff, and it's stuff like that. It's the travel, because a lot of times they're taking those long flights, they're doing long travel days that they're sitting like this, that it's fucking up their necks.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of stuff like that. That, again, it's before they even touch a mat, before they touch the ring. So imagine, it's a lot of stuff like that that also adds up, and why a lot of these guys are the way that shit. I remember I laughed because my doctor was like, how tall are you now? And I'm like, I'm still this. Like, oh no, you would believe there's people that lose inches. And I'm like, makes sense when it comes to wrestling.
I mean, Hogan, he was 6'8", now he's 6'6".
Yeah.
And that was all because of the leg drop. You would think a leg drop
Bro.
was like
especially
but yeah.
that leg drop. Like
Yeah.
imagine, so if you think about that, Hogan was doing the standing leg drop, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Matt Hardy.
Shit.
Was doing it off the top rope, missing it a lot of times because that was the pop. When someone would move, it's like, oh shit, that's gonna hurt.
Yep.
And when he would do it off a fucking ladder.
Yeah.
Like imagine Jeff. That's why Jeff had to legit retire the Swanton at one point. Because bro, that was fucking up his back.
Yeah.
A lot of these moves that people love and this and that. Yo, Rey Mysterio, one of my favorites of all time. He can't do the West Coast pop no more.
Yeah, I've noticed.
He can't land on his knees like that.
Yeah.
He basically has 2 new knees.
Yeah.
And through stem cells now, he's finally not feeling pain. Just like MVP, he talked about he did the stem cell process, and he no longer he says he still feels it in one of the legs, but he no longer has like that constant nagging in one of them.
Yeah.
And that surprised him because he's like, that's how he knew his legs were good because he felt pain. And it's like, imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
So for anyone that wants to say why my shows fucking respect the craft, why we talk about wrestling with this passion, because of shit like that, man.
And and the crazy, I was talking to these women, and this one girl's like, "Oh, I'm super into wrestling now," and she's like, "Oh, but it's the F word." I was like, it's not, and they're like, "No, it is," and I'm still like, "Wait, there's more deaths in in wrestling than there is in MMA, and MMA is what you would consider real fighting." You know what I'm saying? Like, you come on, bro.
I'm listening. I'm sorry. I didn't hear what was going on before that, but I just. I gotta change this this baby bed sheet that I have for my chair because it got completely soaked as I just sat on it, and my ass cheeks were like, "Hey, so we heard that you want to lose a couple pounds for the summertime," and I'm telling you, I was literally melting over here.
Oh shit! Yeah, I noticed when Dijak was saying his goodbyes. I just see you in the little window trying to get air out of anyone.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was like, yes, take it. Oh my god!
Yo, we gotta.
Me. I don't.
Is there anywhere there? Is there anywhere there in that room that you could get like power from? That you could just get a fan at least? Like
I just got my fan. That's why you see like it's blowing.
Okay.
But I have to.
I was gonna say
you haven't put your AC in yet.
No, because I don't know where to put. So long story short, I have a total of 3 ACs, 2 indoors, 1 regular one. Right.
Okay.
The regular one is in my bedroom.
Okay.
And until I change my bedroom around, I won't be able to put in the indoor AC because I want to move it around a bit. Okay. Just because I'm tired of where my bed is at. So I just want to, basically what I want to do is where my bed is at and where my TV is at, I just want to flip.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can do that because I have just an Amazon Fire Stick. I don't have cable or anything like that. So I don't got to worry about fucking cable wires or any of that shit. But the thing is that the other AC that I have is supposed to be for my daughter's room.
Okay.
And she doesn't want it because she wants to hang out in my room.
Okay.
So if I don't move the AC that I currently have in my bedroom right now, which I don't see myself doing because I'm too lazy and we're already in pretty much, we're in July already and we're going to blink and we're going to be in the middle of July. It makes no sense for me to move it where it's at just to put the other one in. And it's just too much work on really hot, humid days. And I'm just not here for it.
Yeah. This
heat wave, this thickness of air is hot. It's too much. So I just literally I just got my fan. My room is a fucking hot mess right now. The only thing that's organized in this room is this wall behind y'all.
Well, that's all we need to know.
That's it. Cause I got like the bullshit ass like the 2 fans and shit like that over here, but I don't feel nothing. I feel nothing. I came back with my sports bra. I was like, fuck this shirt. The interview's over. I don't care. I'm here. Where'd Kenny go?
He said he'll be right back.
Yeah, he said
He's not coming back.
Probably not.
He lied to us. Look, I fucking went into Chung Li all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's how this heat is. That was me yesterday. I legit I text Toe. I'm like, yo, I'm trying not to die right now.
Yo, bro.
And it doesn't help that I'm drinking Jameson right now.
Oh yeah, you're drinking right now.
So nothing is helping me. And yeah, I'm drinking because I'm, for those who know, I'm going through my own personal shit. So right now a little bit of JMO is helping, and I've been off the JMO because of this hotness, this heat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I can't be drinking like this and this is fucking hot like this. Yo,
I want to be like that next weekend. I'm hoping next weekend is not as hot because either way, I'm fucking getting fucked up.
What's happening next weekend?
My birthday's next weekend. So I'm trying to get fucked up next weekend.
Oh shit, where are we going?
Yeah.
I have no clue.
What? The meetup places? Where? What? Let's go. Oh my god. We in there. Wherever it's at, it's gonna have steaks and alcohol.
That's it.
For me, it's I'll bring my pen. It's okay because I don't know who's gonna be around, so maybe not everybody likes that weed smoke. But speaking of, hold on. I didn't want to be an unprofessional and smoke this while Dijak was talking to us, although I don't think he would give a shit anyway. But I was trying to keep it professional.
No, I hear you.
Professional.
Word.
I think on the first stream they did, Mace was just vaping away with a weed pen, so I think he would have been fine.
That's a weed pen. This is a blunt. Big difference.
It's cigar weed.
It's that's cigar weed. It's bad for you.
I got glaucoma. This is bad for you.
No cigar weed. No cigar weed.
Oh my god.
So
we don't do that here.
When you was getting your fan, we was talking about Money in the Bank, and John Cena's retiring. That's what Kenny wanted to ask me about. He's gonna take 2 years to do it.
I think that's where Kenny went to. He went to go get his tickets now. He's gonna make sure he's there for Las Vegas. And I am tempted. I am tempted to go now.
I mean, if we
I
we
might
were
have
supposed
to
to
be
do this
there
shit,
anyway.
but if we could make it work, we could try to make it a trip out of some shit. But I'm indifferent about the way they use Drew to win the Money in the Bank and then lose it.
I'm not. I thought about it. I slept on it. I thought about it. And the reasoning why I'm not mad, because for the longest we thought that Damian Priest, who is Senor Money in the Bank for possibly one of the longest times, right? We thought that his cash-in was going to be a fail. You know what I'm saying? So for Drew to win this, and there was no interruptions by nobody. No Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
No CM Punk. No Bloodline. Nobody interfered with this match, and they didn't need to. Not in the Money in the Bank ladder match. It was a lot of carnage that was happening. Yeah. But it was smart of them to have CM Punk cost Drew McIntyre the Money in the Bank. It was smart of them. It really was. It's not a wasted cash-in because guess what? Not all cash-ins are going to be winners. Yeah. We thought for the longest that Damian Priest's cash-in wasn't going to be a winner. We thought that was going to be a total L for us.
I'm indifferent because I get it. And it's smart because no one would really put that in, even though halfway during the match I gave that idea to my brother. But no one really thinks about shit like that. But I'm also on some, did they really need the Money in the Bank to push this story further? Like LA Knight could have used that Money in the Bank because y'all know I want Jay to win this shit
Yeah.
do the Rumble.
I think
You
like
know,
in a biased way, we all want Jay to win it because we're tired of calling him the main event Jay Uso if he's not winning any main
Yeah,
event.
not in the main event. Yeah,
but
you know what
I
it
want the
was?
Rumble for him, but you know,
It was so difficult to see just because of we thought there was going to be so much shenanigans in this.
yeah,
Like everyone expected the
they even
Chad
mentioned that.
Gable. Chad Gable was going to get fucked by the Wyatts. LA Knight would get taken out by Logan Paul. Drew, everyone thought if Punk wasn't messing with him there, the minute he won, it's like he's gonna get fucked by Punk. Somehow Punk is messing up his cash in, especially because he said he would cash in tonight on Sunday or Saturday. Sorry, and it's the thing of like I told you and Kenny earlier. I didn't mind the way they did it because of all the little like extras that they booked into the title match. The problem I have is now Monday. You basically said, "Hey, yeah, everything we just did, kibosh that, and fuck it. Now we're gonna do Seth versus Damian again for some reason. We're gonna do Drew is back next Monday, even though he's suspended. We're gonna do all that and
How is
basically
this
say,
man suspended indefinitely and then coming back after 2 weeks?
Yeah,
If you're
That's
gonna
what
be
that's what I'm
suspended
saying.
indefinitely, give it at least a month.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
know,
saying. Like, how is all this just like? Look it.
I understand the story they're saying because in actuality, Damian Priest, if he wants to be the honorable dude, yeah, yo, fuck all that. There was cheating. I'm gonna give you a one-on-one match, just you and me.
But he's a
I get
heel.
that.
He shouldn't
No,
be
no.
doing this so much.
Yes, I get it. I know. Trust me, I get it. I'm trying to do the Donovan, the Dijak. I'm looking at it through other
You're looking
people's
at-
eyes here. Feast your eyes on this stupidity.
So
But
this is what he meant by feast your eyes. I
yeah,
got it now.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm like I understand where someone comes up with the idea, but the execution of it, I think, was wrong because if Damian Priest would have did it after SummerSlam, let's say he beats Gunther, and after SummerSlam he sees Seth, and he just goes, "Yo, Seth, you know what? Me and you in a stipulation match that keeps everyone out, and it can only be me and you, because I need to prove to myself that I could beat you clean. No money in the bank, no none of this shit." Then it would have been like, okay, cool, because we would have lived with the fact that he wasn't getting a title shot, and they could have did some shit with CM Punk. But then Drew gets suspended indefinitely, and he's coming back next week to talk. It's like, wait a minute, that's not how suspensions work. He's supposed to be gone. You know what I'm saying? It's the execution of this story they're trying to tell that's really fucking it up. Because the story can be cool. It's just they're pulling the trigger on the shit really fast.
I'm listening.
I'm trying to like. It's like I said. I feel like they unfortunately put themselves in certain positions.
Yeah.
That it's like now it's we have to pull the trigger on this. We got to fucking forget about this for a second. We're gonna erase this. You never saw this, but you saw this. But we're gonna make sure you didn't see this type shit. That it's like, like I said with Chad Gable, bullet hole.
Yeah.
Bullet hole.
You know,
No longer bullet hole.
I think one idea is sparking another idea, and they're going, that sounds better than what we have. Let's run with it. How can we make this work? We're gonna have to renege on.
I think Chad Gable should be walking around with like a mini scar.
Yeah, he has. Yo, I was telling Toe and Kenny that it's like, how is it that he's selling more? But because I also it's an actual injury, but he's selling more of the post Money in the Bank than he is the bullet hole. Like he came back that Monday after the Wyatt 6 with a little band-aid. Monday he comes back all bandaged up because my guy took a fucking fall.
Yo.
Like I was like, yo, he took the 2K fall. If you ever played a ladder match in 2K, you've taken that bump because for some reason, even if you do 50 finishers, the guy's gonna get up and be able to push your ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what you just did to this guy, you can hit him with 50 finishers, throw him to the outside. He has the fucking knocked out bar. You're like almost there. Oh, fuck. And you're taking that front bump. But even in the video game, you protect yourself better than Chad Gable did. Because my guy said, I believe I could.
Fuck my face up.
Yo, and the fucked up thing is, you even saw me. I protected my nose, and it's a mic. He went fucking face first into that map.
Face.
Like,
oh, that shit was wild, dude.
The only thing I thought was he broke his nose, especially how he rolled out. I was like, oh, this dude's about to have to do this. Because he went face first.
Yeah, he did.
I was like, ah, you done broke your nose. It was that scene from The Longest Yard. Do you remember that?
Broke my nose.
Oh,
He broke my nose. You look like a young Mike. Really? I like young Michael.
Oh, fuck, man. But it's stuff like that it's like you can't do so many things. And I get it. Sometimes it's like this sparks something else. But on live television, when we're seeing it, it's harder. Like, let's say if it's tape, like they do TNA.
Yeah.
TNA is tape. So certain stuff is like, oh man, what if we do this instead? Reshoot. No one will know, but unfortunately the people that were there live. But you don't put it out. When it comes to this, we're all seeing it. Like, it's on TV, it's on pay-per-view, it's on Peacock, it's on something. That it's like, come on. It's out there. You can't just be like, nope, forget about that. Like I can tell you now, I wish I would have screenshot it. When they announced that Chad Gable was no longer in the ladder match or in the qualifiers for the ladder match, and then Adam Pearce is like, oh, I don't know where this came from, but we never posted that. Motherfucker, it was posted.
Yeah.
Like, now you're blatantly saying things aren't happening, but it's there.
Oh, so you think we're stupid, huh? That's what it is. You think we're fucking stupid. But yeah, that's what I wanted to blow up. Like, I really wanted to be here and blow up at that shit. But I was like, I'm not really that mad because it happened to Drew.
That too. That point too. But on top of that, here's the thing, right? We can't really give it a J right now. Why? But hold on, let's read this. The bullet hole happened through the door. Go back and watch that scene. And the cameraman never walked through the door. That bullet hole was from the Funhouse world. So you mean to tell me because it came from Looney Tunes world that it never happened?
No, but he had a scar from it though.
So why would he have a Band-Aid?
Yeah.
Why would there be something?
I'm just saying.
Tasmanian Devil still got fucked up.
What was that movie? Cruel World? And it wasn't Cruel World? No, Toon World?
What?
Was it Johnny Depp in it? No.
Oh, the guy from the Mummy, Brendan Fraser.
The Looney Tunes movie.
No,
Brendan Fraser
no, I'm not thinking about that. Negative.
Yeah, Ray, get your shit together.
You thought the same shit I was thinking.
I think it's called Cool World, if I'm not mistaken.
We were both going the same direction. That movie was orange video.
Is it what I'm thinking?
I had that on VHS, man. That was a good movie.
Yeah, no, it was Brad Pitt in it. Cool World, 92. Before your time, Raymond.
Cool World?
Cool World. That's cool. World.
Yo, Carlito said something that was sus.
Once you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe.
I'm gonna look.
You never seen this? Fuck the both of y'all.
You know what
seen it?
You know what it was? I didn't grow up watching kid movies.
That's not a kid movie.
No, but I mean, if my pops or my mom didn't want to see this shit, I didn't grow up watching it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So whatever happened in that world is gonna happen in, for real, right?
I've seen the poster for this movie. I've definitely not seen the movie.
You should.
But this almost looked like a more adult version of fucking
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So we have this concept of that.
Okay.
With Chad Gable.
Yeah, but why would Chad?
That's what I'm saying. Like
I would agree with that. That would have been cool that all that was just the Funhouse. But then again, they could have done what we said, doing the fucking storybook.
The Funhouse is a fucking. The storybook is dope.
I would love the idea of that, but I do love this therapist story they've been telling. of having Bo having these moments of self-reflection and all that. That's been great.
So moving forward from Money in the Bank, nobody's winning that. They're creating different storylines. We got the VHS tape, right? Since we're talking about Chad, we got another one, right? Creeping everybody out.
Yep.
Question is, how long are we going to run the VHS tapes before it starts getting stale? One, two. We have this VHS tape. And after we see like a final like therapist or just him just talking to himself, right? Self-reflection.
Yeah.
Then we get into a cutscene where he's in Adam Pearce's office.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. I think Monday was our last VHS tape. Because now Bo is no longer just in a VHS. We saw Bo, or we saw Taylor, or we saw whatever you want to call him. And the fact of how the tape ended, of them finally showing their faces, if you like slow it down.
They never showed Nikki's face though. Am I bugging?
No, they never showed hers, but they showed every other face.
Right, everyone else, we got it.
Yeah, which I like, just because I guess that one is supposed to be more of Nikki isn't Nikki. You know, it's supposed to resemble.
Well, remember, Nikki was crazy. That could be her face.
Yeah,
like Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Like he wore the mask. That was his face.
Yeah,
that could be too. That could work also, because also she's not wearing a mask. She's the only one that only has, what's that called?
It's like a porcelain doll type of stuff.
Yeah, like that's mask.
Is it technically prosthetic? Like prosthetic face? Yeah, technically prosthetic.
I can see like that nose protector.
Yeah. So there is something there that's not. It's not necessarily a mask. So that could be, again, her face. But I like that imagery right there. That right there tells us this could be the last VHS, because now we've seen them, we've heard their reasoning, and now Bo is there to talk to Adam Pearce.
So now what's the next scare tactic? We're always gonna get the lights off, right?
Yeah.
We're always gonna get the smoke in a way.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily in ring. It happens backstage. Are the lights off, smoke, then random like bluish light.
Yeah.
It's just a light, door light, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that they could do.
Right.
The best thing that my legit reaction Monday was, did Adam Pearce leave the door open for them? Because he smiled when he saw Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce did not look like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like he knew this shit was gonna happen.
It was like, oh, okay.
But then again, wasn't Adam Pearce one of those people that got fucked up in the initial room?
Bro, at this point, a lot of people allegedly got fucked up, and then somehow they're okay.
Yo,
Gunther got fucked up, and then we never acknowledged it again.
It could.
But the only visible person that I really saw was Chad. Every day they say all these people got fucked up, but it's just y'all niggas look like a whole bunch of extras.
They got fucked up.
Someone broke it down that basically everyone that would have gotten attacked or got attacked was someone that like turned their back on family in a sense. So the Chad Gables, the Gunthers, they said a few more that it was, but it's like there was reasons behind it. It was because of how the Wyatt Six are so family oriented that it's like whoever Vin Diesel's about to be a part of the Wyatt Six.
Let me run an idea from you, because I was thinking about this, and then you said family oriented.
Yeah.
You notice it's not a coincidence that most of the time they go after Chad, Jay's in the ring also. What if Bo goes up to like Chad, Jay is just shooting his promo, turns around, Bo's there, and he goes, "How's your brother?" Some shit like that. We know why you're not with them, but on some, maybe it's a good idea to go back to your brother. Like one of those type innuendo.
And if you know what, that works, because think about it this way: the bloodline that we are currently running with are eventually they're taking over, right?
Yeah.
Roman's not gonna like that. That whole storyline that we went through last week on Raw, the way Solo running right now, it ain't gonna be on some dumb shit, yo. It's gonna be on some hood shit. It's gonna be on site. And fucking Roman, obviously is gonna get jumped by Solo and everything like that. Jimmy's gonna come out of nowhere too, right? They're gonna get their ass handed to them. And then when they get their ass handed to them is that Monday, right? Where that actually happens. Like, how's your brother?
Yeah.
You know, because he just got his ass beat and he ain't checking on his brother.
Yeah. Or even
and
just
coming
that
from
being,
Bo.
Yeah.
And brothers and brothers.
Yeah.
Brothers and bro. Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what, that works though, that Jay wasn't someone that got attacked because he isn't the one that caused the division.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's not the issue.
No.
Because they sympathize with those that have been
on that
devalued or
spectrum.
Forgotten about in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anything, if I were Jimmy,
he was forced to leave.
I watch my back. Jimmy though, Jimmy's gonna have to watch his back. But when it comes
Jimmy
to that,
technically got what he deserved, so it wouldn't be fair for him to be punished again for it.
His punishment is not done yet because he's gonna go out there and be with Roman when Roman's gonna be there and stuff like that. And they're both gonna get their ass handed to them.
So one of the things I was explaining to Cruz about the storyline and what it could be was like them resetting them back to before they changed. Because Chad, that was my whole thing for Chad. Now, you got Jay going back to his brother. Jimmy, it's one of those things like, let's see if he redeems himself. Like, give him some motivation to redeem himself.
Yeah.
Because if they jump him, then it's a whole Bloodline versus Wyatt 6. But to just be in the background, be watchers, that gives them weeks of storyline without having them to do anything.
I think
because people say once it goes into the ring, it's gonna look Looney Tune-ish.
No, that's my only worry is how they are going to translate it when it comes into the ring. And it's not even my worry about the characters itself. My thing is, how do you make them wrestle? Because, my issue isn't it's not that it's going to look Looney Tune. It's just more of how do you make them, they have to be nerfed a bit when it comes to their in-ring. You know what I'm saying? Because
the mannerism has to be there with the character itself, in the sense of way of you can't just have them wrestle like how they used to wrestle.
It's not even just that. It's more of they can't be able to just kill someone instantly, Because in the first debut,
but
they took down how many bodies?
Yeah.
When it comes to their wrestling, it's like they still have to be able to wrestle.
If they're family oriented, then I would want to see some we got a tag team, Dexter Lumis and Jay Casey. Like these motherfuckers look like the Usos.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, because that would explain their chemistry. You know what I'm saying? Because that translates to family oriented. Like their team is strong.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily have to be monsters because maybe they put the mask on their monsters when they're not in the mask.
More humanized.
Like Bray when he just wrestled in the sweater.
Yeah. No, that could work too. Again, it's just making it work where it's not insane that it's like, well, at this point, how are they ever gonna lose? Because then that's where you have that booking that it's like when they finally lose, how do you make that make sense?
And
so they have to be able to worry about that now.
It feels as though what I think I also don't want from that is that they just wrestle a whole bunch of jobbers where they're just gonna go through them, where we know as fans they're gonna go through them.
Yeah.
This has to have, as a wrestling aspect of it, needs to have a little bit more meaning behind to who they are actually going up against. Because if you just put them with jobbers, it's like, oh, well, we know how this is going.
Well, I feel like that's gonna be the tease of how we start getting them in the ring. Is stuff like that. Like, unfortunately, we're gonna get local guy from this state this week. And then you start adding in the Creed brothers, possibly, because if they're gonna keep on with Chad Gable, the Creed brothers, unfortunately, are gonna get sacrificed.
So that I see that match happening.
Yeah,
and I don't mind that match. It's matches like, fucking, I would say Miz and R-Truth in a way. But I love R-Truth, and he's a national treasure, and he must be protected at all times, and I will never wish harm on him.
Yeah.
Wyatt 6. The
Yeah.
Miz, I've always been a misfit. I don't care what Lay says. Miz is okay.
Yeah.
Lay, I know your opinion. Don't see the same way, but it's all right. Not all brilliant minds think alike.
my thing.
But
that
like, you know what I mean? Like with like tag teams that are like that. That's just like you're just gonna feed them to the wolves.
Yeah.
No, that is gonna happen with some teams. Certain teams, unfortunately, they're gonna get fed because you have to build them up. But also, certain people are just gonna get fed. Like Chad Gable for a while.
You know
who is gonna be fed to them.
You know who can I mean, they will have to move him from SmackDown to Raw, but they could fuck with Cedric Alexander with the Hurt Business. Is like
He's
you
on
left
NXT.
that, huh?
He's on NXT now. Finally.
Oh, so
they're gonna do something with him on NXT.
Well, I mean, so fuck the Hurt Business.
Basically,
yeah. But what my main concern is, where does Braun Strowman fit in?
He's not.
I know he's not a part of them, but he was pivotal in the Wyatt family.
I mean,
it's well known that he's one of the good friends of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
you know, like he was pivotal in Alexa Bliss being possessed by the Fiend. You know, like he's part of the story that Bray was telling.
Yeah,
like I don't.
Again, it's little things that they could start teasing. They could start doing, especially when it comes to finally letting them wrestle. But I want to see what we're gonna do here when it comes to with Chad. Like this has to end in a match, I would assume, right? But who wrestles him is my thing.
But does it?
Yeah,
because it could.
You have to eventually.
But the thing is, they haven't really tormented him since they shot him in the head. Could this be motivation?
It's a real thing, bro. What's wrong with you?
No, but I'm
Chad is tweaking every time the lights go off.
But I mean, could this just be like motivation type shit? You know, like they can spin it in a way where Bo is on some, you know, he's more there, but it's like you just gotta believe, bro.
I don't know if this is really motivating. If every time something bad happens to me, done, like that doesn't motivate me. That makes me want to be like, what the fuck is going on?
You know what doesn't motivate people either? Lashing them, smack them in the face.
But is it motivation that they're trying to do?
People to smack back because it's a physical.
Wait, time out. That is something that the Wyatts did, though. Remember, Brody and Rowan smacked the shit out of each other.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but that wasn't the Wyatt 6.
No, but that was the Wyatt's origin story. So go fuck yourself.
It could be a part of this. You never know.
Part of the origin.
You don't know what crazy shit they're gonna be doing when they're in this.
The fact that we have
now it counts.
Yeah. The fact that we have so many questions about this story is what makes me a wrestling fan.
No, and that's the best thing about it. That it should stuff like this. It gets us talking. It makes us now want to have this conversation.
Going.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be able to just be like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Like, no, being able to have a longer conversation about it is showing they're doing something right. This is one of those stories that it's like, fuck, I want to see what happens next. I want to watch Raw on Monday to see what's gonna happen instead of, oh, we gotta watch Raw on Monday. You know, like,
yeah.
Here's hoping, because Raw this Monday does look good. Like the card they announced looks good. We know. Last Monday put Toe to sleep.
Yeah,
like it was trash.
Yeah,
now we
and
know
even
Mommy's bag.
and even that I had to catch that shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I rewatched it on Hulu. I was like, I think it would have been better if she was just like on screen or actually did. She just walked out with and was like, Mommy's back, and then she's mad at Dom. Like, okay,
yeah, Dom couldn't stop looking at her tits.
Yeah, but yo, after the fact that they showed Damian Priest watching it, and it was like a WWE exclusive, and he goes, "There's consequences." It's like that should have been on the show.
Yeah, that part should have been on the show.
That part, but then you also have another backstage where Liv is behind the curtain, just looking at everything that's happening and laughing.
When she ran out in the crowd,
after she ran out in the crowd, she was behind a black curtain, right? From the crowd that she ran in, and was like kind of like looking at everything that was happening in the ring between Dom and Rhea.
Mm.
And
So
then
it was like a match.
afterwards, she just closed the curtain, the camera was there, and she was just laughing.
So it was
And,
kind of
like, I'm gonna watch.
yeah, like my master plan is coming together.
Yeah, that's the thing though. All this stuff is like the Damian Priest shit should have definitely been on this show.
Yeah. That laughing could have been a Raw exclusive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was.
No, yeah, but I mean, like that didn't need to be on the show because that's one
that
of those
part.
like
No, Damien's reaction should have been Damien's. It's one of those where it's like, come on, man, like that we need to see just because it's like, oh, so you knew about this?
Well, he called her. I think he called her.
Yeah. He teased that, and he was like, oh, Dom will find out, and it's like, so we could have on Raw Carlito saying, oh, he's hard, all right, but we couldn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, come on. We needed that moment, but we couldn't have this.
I will say this. I'm just happy to have Carlito on my TV instead of not being on my TV. And I will take him on my TV anytime since they decided they want to play with him. And all he's doing is seizing this opportunity because there ain't shit else that's happening right now.
Him in sweatpants wrestling is still weird to me. What happened to his gear?
I agree with that.
How you get signed and not have gear now? What happened to you had gear on the Indies a few months ago.
Let's analyze this as a story.
Okay.
If he's with the Judgment Day, but he's not with them.
Correct.
And he's like trying, like he's just chilling with them, and he's doing all this stuff. I think he doesn't give a fuck about like I'm just gonna wrestle. It's like they just you know what I'm saying. Like I think that's like a statement that he's wrestling in sweatpants.
Okay.
Because it's like I don't give a shit.
Okay. You know what's funny though? That it's sweatpants, but he's still wearing wrestling boots.
Yeah.
I love that. That it's like
you gotta Lieutenant Dan protect the feet.
It's like yo, he's still making sure that professionalism of like, nope, you must wear boots. No matter what, the boots must be there.
Well, because no one bought him his Jordan 1s. He's not officially in the Judgment Day until he got the Jordan 1s.
They got sold out because we bought too many chicken nuggets.
It's the custom shit. It takes a while.
We bought the chicken nuggets. You couldn't get the Jordan 1s.
Yo, those fucking chicken nuggets, bro. They made me want to fucking have chicken nuggets while we watch.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like on Monday we gotta have chicken nuggets while we watch.
Yeah, we get a bag of Tyson chicken nuggets and just put them in the air fryer.
On Monday, you will see us having chicken nuggets.
Fuck it, let's do it.
I won't be here on Monday now because my plans got fucked up.
Yeah,
I'll talk about those tomorrow on the Toe in the Show show.
Yeah,
my plans got fucked up.
Ray was trying to get his baby mama number 336.
Bro, that was the number I was on in fucking DMV yesterday. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Shit, he was with 336 at the DMV. You know that shit's real.
Sheesh.
That's how old that one is.
Sheesh. License number and all.
The wife has been ruined already.
Already? What?
What?
I need to see Bo. I need to see the faction. What? How dare you, sir? Let it cook, Leon.
Leon, we saw the faction though. We just saw them on the VHS tape. Are you paying attention, my guy?
Like, come on. The
Also,
fact that they
Nikki
literally showed all their faces except for Nikki.
I mean, you can't wedge them into a story when we got to SummerSlam coming around the corner. Like, I think they're waiting for them to start something right in SummerSlam, right at the end of something.
Yeah, like they also can't rush it because, like I said, they have to figure out everything that's gonna make sense, piece by piece. How do we get them in this? How do we then have them wrestle? If they rush it, it's gonna be, unfortunately, no pun intended to our guest, but it's gonna be a retribution angle. It's like you rush it, you pull the trigger too quickly, and then little by little it diminishes. Like, you have to be able to make this work, and this is an angle that so many people are invested. It's worth the wait. Like, we waited long enough to finally get them revealed. Now with this VHS tape, it gives that time that it's like we're getting something, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah.
So it's more than just, oh, we need to not just see this guy. It's like, hey, seeing Bo is something. It's like, oh shit, he's there. Also, it's him. It wasn't Uncle Howdy. So it's like, what are we playing here? What is actually happening here?
Yeah. Well, Leon, so there was, I don't know if I mentioned on the show, if I was just talking to my brother about it, but there was an instance where I said that the Wyatt, where you make them wrestle, is every time they're on screen, the only one that sees them is Pat McAfee. And he's calling their matches, and it's almost like a fake world that no one knows they're in this.
Yeah, we spoke about this.
The viewers and Pat McAfee. And then when Pat McAfee ends it, Michael Cole's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, because remember, they kidnapped Pat McAfee on his show. So that was one of those things that I was talking about. Like, maybe it could be like what Clown was saying, like they never walk through the door. This could be the funhouse world that they live in and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to make it, because I know they said they didn't want no powers and shit like that. But yeah,
and that's what we look for. Something that's outside of the box thinking, mystique. That who doesn't like a good scary movie?
Yeah.
And that's the best thing about this whole story here is that it's just a truly awesome cinematically done horror movie. And the only problem is, again, you have to wait, because when those kills come, it's gonna come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The best ones, especially like this, that it's so gory. Ministry of Darkness is what I want. You do not want the Ministry of Darkness, Leon, because again, the Ministry of Darkness was also a faction that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled the trigger too damn quickly, and then it became the corporate ministry that no one fucking liked. Because they gave you Naked Minion. Okay. I don't think anyone liked Naked Minion. So
I think
it's
JBL liked them.
Possibly he beat the shit out of him, so maybe. But it's one of those where it's like you have to, again, let it breathe. This is one of those where I know everyone hates this phrase, trust the process.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those where it's like they've been cooking with this angle. Just let it happen.
Because
the thing is, you can't have everything like that. You have to let it.
Not with this.
Ever heard of slow cooking?
Yeah.
That should be bomb by the end of the fucking time that it needs to be in. And this is where we're at, though. We gotta slow cook this.
Nah, we're good. You know what we're gonna call that now? Show cooking, because my guy with that rice.
Son, I cooked the steaks and pork chops, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna start making rice. I said, what? Then he makes the rice. He's like, I'm gonna start making beans. And me, I dead ass looked at him. I was like, are we ever gonna eat today? Because we gotta pick up your son in a half hour. Like, what are you doing? Me and Ray want to eat. Sit your ass down and eat. Like, we can't cook everything in your fridge, bro.
And while we're eating, he is still making the beans, because the beans weren't even done. He kept cooking them. It's like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
it's one of the first things you have to make.
Yeah,
the rice is actually the first thing you have to make. The beans it's better that you make it a little bit earlier than the rice, depending on the type of rice you make. It's just
But again, I fucked up that I did not bring rice, because if I would have known I had more time, I would have probably brought the rice, and we would have had good rice.
But going back to the wrestling, the fact that it's coming from Bo and the dude that Bray Wyatt worked with, and I would let it cook. This is where you let the process happen, because it's not coming from the minds of Triple H and WWE writers. Like, it's more from that and an extension of what Bray wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing I love, because you could tell the only thing I could see being a Triple H thing is finally bringing him to Adam Pearce. Like, Triple H is definitely going to try to make it where it's like now to be able to do the merge of that with the wrestling side of things.
Yeah.
But everything when it comes to their cinematics and their true vision and everything, that's Bo. We're going off the minds of Bo, that creative team. Fuck, I forgot the guy's name. The one that made
the mask
last suit for Bray.
Yeah.
The one that was on the documentary.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, he has a heavy part in all this with their visuals, with the gear, all that.
And you can imagine what Gacy and the Dex Loomis.
Man, that's why, bro. Joe Gacy was such a guy that, if you see how his old CZW stuff was and the gimmicks that he did, even the stuff he was doing in NXT, like that match he had with Dijak. That's why I said, I'm like, Yo, I'm surprised Gacy didn't want to jump off the fucking steel cage.
Yeah, it's
Mind
funny.
you, he wanted to jump off the steel cage
It's
because
funny that
Gacy is
I saw
like
that match
Yeah.
yesterday. I was like, well, let me see what he did in NXT, and I saw that match that he referenced. Like, oh shit.
No, and that was a match, bro. There's so much that's like, yo,
Jason
Dijak
Bateman.
did stuff, but it's those little things like Gacy, Loomis, Nikki Cross, like, and Rowan is just like, hey, this is stuff your brother would like. This is stuff like this. It's little things like that they could tweak and move around. That again, they're gonna have so much freedoms and so much liberties of what to do with this character.
Yeah.
That's
And
gonna
then
be
to
so
give
fucking
go
great.
like, yo, I remember when we did this promo with your brother, this is what it was like.
Yeah.
And then kind of
Yeah.
implement that with like a little bit of extra darkness into the creative mind.
And also, you can imagine that he has his own like creative
they-
outlook on things.
They would travel the road together and pitch out, like they would talk about what they were gonna do. They were supposed to be a tag team.
Yeah,
Like,
like that
he
was
actually said that.
yeah. Bray said it. That was the end goal of this all was for them to be monsters together in a sense, and that's why I knew the minute that they had or whatever the figure was writing left-handed, I was like, that's Bo. Before they showed it was Uncle Howdy. That's Bo. Because they talked about it so much about how so many serial killers and psychotic people are left-handed, which makes me feel a type of way because I'm left-handed.
And now we know why he has so many baby mamas.
That it's like
We should be streaming tomorrow, no my guys.
yeah, we'll be live tomorrow. But it's like it's that thing of little things like that that you can tell, like that's where his artistic vision is at. That it's like the little details of just the way he wrote, the way he did this, the way they're panning the cameras, the way they're doing this, even the way Nikki's coming out. Like you could tell, like we noticed she's wearing knee pads. Little
Yeah.
things like that. That it's like it's still the wrestler, but she's able to do these movements and doing it this way. That shit Tama Tonga hasn't done his Nightcrawler crawl. Have you noticed that?
Because of that?
You can tell, like, bro, you can imagine they're like, hey, can you not do this to not take away from that?
Yeah.
Maybe he just stopped on some way. They're doing some shit. Let me not do it.
No, but that's the thing too, bro. There's gonna be so much interest in this. Everyone is gonna be like, how do we take away from that?
Yeah, I knew there was something about you, clown.
Like, but it's little things like that, man. That's like this is gonna be so much money if we just give it the time that it needs, and they give the time that it needs. And again, SummerSlam is around the corner. Doesn't mean that they have to even be involved match wise. They can be there. We could have Uncle Howdy show up. We can have a segment. We could have something. Doesn't mean they have to wrestle.
Wasn't SummerSlam where Ray returned?
No, it was Survivor Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, but before we got a half hour left, I wanted the women's Money in the Bank had to be, my opinion, the best Money in the Bank the women's done.
I applaud the women.
Yeah.
It definitely was painful at certain points to watch though, because like they put themselves through it. Zoe Starks deserves a nice vacation after taking that Michinoku and taking whatever the tope was. Because that tope, I don't know who was supposed to be there or what the original plan was, but her landing on her head, I don't think was the plan.
No, not at all.
Because her
the way it
on her
felt
head,
too,
I was like,
that was tough to watch.
Yeah, her landing on her head like that, like it was nothing, was like, ooh, this is no bueno.
Yeah, but we all knew Tiffy was gonna win it, but I kind of wanted Chelsea Green. That was the dark horse.
You know what? I applaud the creative team that decided to put this match together because they fucking knew in the back. Listen, it's Tiffy time and Chelsea Green. Because Chelsea Green will sell this because we're selling the fact that Chelsea Green is afraid of heights.
Yeah.
I was going to say that right there. I said it Monday too, that it's like the story they told on that of her being like, oh, she's afraid of heights. And then every time she was about to get hit, falling down, making sure nothing happened till that spot. Because that's how you sell a story of like, oh, fuck. Like she avoided everything till now.
Yeah.
Like it works so
And
well.
with
Again,
Tiffy shaking
making
the ladder,
moments
and
like
she
that.
got scared. She's like, "Don't you move the ladder! Don't you shake the ladder!" It's like now we know why you wasn't climbing up because you scared shitless up there.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect. That is
Yeah.
perfect to do. That popped the shit out of me when she's alone in the ring and it's like
Yeah, she's trying to
Oh my
jump up.
God.
like
Jumping,
that was great. It's
grabbing
like
the ladder to try to like
try it. Why not?
tap
Yeah.
it.
You know what's funny? Why have more people not tried to do that? Like it's on a fucking hook. Just fucking knock the shit off.
Well, you got
Just treat it like
it's a mountain climber's hook. You got to push the
is it
thing in.
latched?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? No, I'm
Yeah.
actually asking because I
No,
feel
no,
like
yeah, it is.
with the amount of shit they've done sometimes that it's just like
Because
I feel like it's off already the hook. Like
because
you just
Zoe
pull.
actually she opened up the latch to do it when they hit her.
Okay.
Like yeah, it's an actual latch. It
Okay.
back in
Yeah.
the day, it was one of those you could
No,
hook it
I was
up.
gonna say, was it always? Because I feel like at one point that's why I'm surprised this hasn't happened more in matches where the shit accidentally falls. Like I feel like that should be a finish to one of these Money in the Banks. Is and it just drops and then it's like a fucking
Pretty much like the pandemic one.
yeah, not
In a sense.
in a
where they
sense, but
threw it off of the thing.
more of like it falls and it's like oh shit now
You got
what?
like two heavyweights suplexing each other off of the ladder. The ring breaks and the shit falls down.
Just not even that craziness.
Just
Just
little.
like the battle of like people trying to be up there, and it just falls, and it's like it's a fumble. It's like go, and whoever
Negative
gets,
Zero got it in his hands. Like
basically,
A
but, like
fucking
something like that would be dope. Something
Yeah.
like that legit would be dope.
a
to see.
fumble and recover. Wow.
yeah, right.
Legit.
Yo, and I don't know if you guys are aware. I put it in the chat, but the woman that wrestled Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door, Stephanie Valkron,
Vakur. Yeah.
she signed with the WWE.
Yeah. Didn't I send the thing too that Shawn Michaels legit tweeted it.
Yeah,
Like he confirmed because I know a lot of people were like saying it like, oh yeah, she signed. Shawn Michaels legit said, I'm not waiting for y'all to see it anymore. Boom. Welcome
Yeah.
to the WWE family.
yeah, and she's Chilean, according to Conan.
Yeah. Oh no, you know what's funny? Because you know how YouTube is. The minute something becomes a trending topic, they just start recommending a bunch of videos.
Yeah,
So today, for some reason, a video of her and Thunder Rosa popped up from Thunder Rosa's vlogs, and she talked about it. Her from being from Chile and then moving to Mexico. Meanwhile, none of her family ever watched lucha libre.
yeah.
It just became something she was passionate about. But now she's gonna do good in the E.
She's gonna do really good in NXT.
Does the name Ricky Hendricks sound anything to you as a wrestler? I may be naming the wrong person, but he was a big CMLL wrestler, and she was going out with him. This is a story that Conan said, and that he choked her or something, like he was abusive to her, and they arrested him for it. And like CMLL was like actually had her back to it because they don't stand for that, and he's still in jail. And some of the people that actually follow him are like trying to say that she did it herself, and like there's a whole controversy, you know, with her ex and what happened with him in jail and shit like that. This is coming from Conan on Eric Bischoff's show, so I don't know if it's 100%, but
the name does ring a bell, but unfortunately, it doesn't sound like something out of the like. It's not out of the ordinary, unfortunately, when it comes to those relationships over there, because a lot of fucking luchadors end up being pieces of shit. But yeah, it's again, she's gonna do well. She's definitely gonna do well. But also, WWE is signing a lot of people this week,
bro. I mean, the momentum of that shit. But yo, it's crazy because it's almost like Forbidden Door was her tryout for the WWE. Because I'm wondering why Tony didn't want to give her a.
Well, no, apparently she had offers from both sides. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
there was
Apparently
offers from AEW and WWE.
Because she had they posted pictures this week. She had a WWE tryout. I want to say 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then she went to CMLL, did her thing with New Japan, and then this year when she decided to leave her contract because that was the thing too. She basically Well, the contract was expired, but she left. She left both companies, and that's why they ended up dropping the title to Mercedes.
And then she forfeited
they-
the last suit that she has.
Yeah, and then they offered both AEW and WWE offered contracts. The only thing I can imagine is AEW probably was the sour decision because of they have their deal with New Japan. So I can imagine
Yeah.
if she's like, I'm out. I don't think she's gonna want to be attached to a company at the moment that is so closely knit with said company. You know?
Yeah, because it's not her really leaving.
Yeah, not even just that. It's more of like if
Not
you kind of
leaving,
left,
but being used for, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
and it's also like
Yeah.
you left in a more. I wouldn't say that's unprofessional, but it's more of like
a
you
sour
left
taste
trying
in
to
the
make a statement in a way,
Yeah.
and it's like now to be working so close, it's like yeah, this is
You
difficult.
gotta get back and shit.
Yeah.
Yo, but talking about AEW,
Yeah.
Ethan Page is NXT champion.
Yes.
Randy Spears is Randy Spears. I keep calling him fucking
Sean Spears.
John Spears is
Randy.
main eventing NXT.
Yep.
They're in better positions in NXT than we're in AEW.
Yep.
But now picture this. Cody turns heel. They move up to the main roster, and you got the fucking trio with Ricky Starks
Yo.
as your faction to take over for the Bloodline as heel factions, and all these motherfuckers are show offs and heels. And it's like Cody's like, you motherfuckers cheered for me, but the minute I got champion, you turn like some shit like that. And my brother even threw in the fact like he don't even hold the title no more. He's like, yo, fuck your title, fuck that shit. You know, like, and they were all just sitting there taking over. And you got four very fucking dominant personalities.
And four people that could be that cocky, arrogant.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is it could work so well because it could almost be a Cody's version of the Horseman.
Yeah.
In a sense, those very well dressed, just cocky, arrogant heels. That could work. Unfortunately, I don't know what the hell's happening with Ricky Starks. Because funny enough, earlier before I got on to my podcast, I was just watching him and somehow he's just live streaming on his IG. He was just in Spain, just chilling. And I'm just like, the fuck are you doing in Spain and not what is happening?
My guy's living la vida loca right now.
And I was like, wait, Barcelona ain't playing this week. Like, you there for soccer? Are you there just because you're there? Like, what is happening?
Maybe he just wanted to vacay.
In the middle of Madrid?
Sometimes you gotta get yourself out of the fucking country to get your shit together. Yes. Yes, Raymond. If he wants to go to Spain, that motherfucker's going to Spain.
They ain't nothing.
All right.
No, the reason I asked,
he's doing his pose like, oh, bitch, I'm in Spain, and you know where Raymond's at? On his couch. You know what? That's what he's doing right now.
Again, it just didn't look like it was almost a vacation like that. Because my guy was walking and trying to get a drink. And over there, I think it was by that point, almost midnight, and everything was closed. Because you know how usually no, they legit were saying ya no servimos.
Were you there?
He was showing it on IG for some reason.
You see this? Was he
Hey,
there?
if I got the were you there, you get the were you there.
Were you there? Were you there? Were you there, Raymond? Is that
I
how
was.
it went down?
I was on his street. I was watching. I was listening.
You wasn't in Spain.
I wasn't in Spain. I would love to visit Spain. Or I would be able to speak the language because unfortunately Ricky Starks could not speak Spanish.
I just cracked something over here and it just felt so good right now.
Damn.
Yo.
That shit was a whole fucking snap, crackle, and pop right there. Shit. I'm a Rice Krispie treat, bitch.
Would you add Arn to the group as
No,
because Arn is doing so many great things with his son on the.
I don't want anybody as a manager anymore. Paul Ellery gotta go. Something that team, that faction has to go. There's a manager. It's not working for me. There's a no, thank you. I think Paul Ellery gotta go
Because they don't talk.
They're not really. They're just standing there now.
They're an oversized faction for a faction that's not even equipped enough to go ahead and just fucking give a shit about them.
Yeah. That's. They're like the kids on the train that just want to make noise.
Yeah. And that's bad because they're all great wrestlers, but that's bad.
Yeah.
But moving forward, what else?
Heatwave.
What else went down?
Heatwave. You know, Ethan Page is NXT champion. Heatwave.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Hi, Ray. I don't know if you know this, but I just happen to predict that, you know, our friend, gotta keep the elbow up, you know, Ethan Page was gonna win. I predicted that. Did you?
I was still I was going my heart there. I wanted Javon Evans to shock the world. I didn't say it was out of the question though of Ethan Page winning, but I did say I was just hoping Javon Evans would shock the
again. That's what you did. You chose wrong. You trying to justify what you did. You chose
no
wrong.
this one
just like you chose wrong with Damian Priest, sir. You just
no. I'm blaming Phil for that one because Seth Rollins. That was a 1. That was a 2.
He kicked
that was
out.
a 3. No one kicked out.
He kicked out.
No, I will say this.
Spiritually, he kicked out.
Bro, he was not.
He identifies as someone who kicked out. That
he identifies as someone that was concussed.
No, what
Damian Priest was not.
I don't know.
Fuck out.
No,
I don't know where my
it's
brother.
been
I don't know where
nothing.
my brother got it, but they said that he forgot to kick
we're
out.
gonna discuss the elephant in the room. That nigga got knocked the fuck out.
He legit got knocked out.
Got dazed.
All right. Because I thought. I thought.
Good job for the ref for doing what he
Yeah.
had to do. You know.
I thought it was a miscue for Drew. Like Drew was supposed to come out during that pin, or
that's what
maybe
everyone is saying. That's what everyone is trying
or
to.
maybe they
cover it
sent
up
out Drew after that on some yo go in there and distract him from that shit because you're
well,
gonna get.
That
boozed.
was the perfect time to do it. That was the perfect time to do it. But it's like,
I didn't see him get knocked out though. What did he get knocked out from?
Just the suplex itself.
The Falcon's Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, Bully Ray pointed it out. Damian Priest did one of these. When you're taking a move that has nothing to do with your arms or anything, and you start doing one of these, you're trying to see if you have feeling. So my guy was loopy. That's why I said, I was like, the minute it's like 1, 2, he's not moving. So there's no like register. Like you could see him there, but there's no consciousness. Like you can tell like he's out of it.
You saw in his face after the ref did that, and Seth, he was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, because that's when he's waking up. Now he's like, "Oh, fuck.
Oh, okay."
That's you could tell, like, "Oh, fuck!" Like,
he realized at that moment that's where he kind of missed the cue.
Yeah,
and then
you could tell. Yeah, at that point,
on top of that, so it's like, okay, this is where we're at.
And also, you saw when after that, like, he rolls to the side for a bit. He's trying to wake up, like he's trying to get back into it because they still have spots to go. Mm-hmm. So I could imagine whatever he did after, because I can't remember what he had to do after from there. They're calling it at that point. Like they have to be like, "Hey, we're doing this. We're doing this. Remember, we're about to do this," instead of just going with the motions. Yeah. I thought the music should have hit, and even if that was the case, I feel like Damien would have still kicked out in a sense.
Yeah,
and it would have been the reaction. I would have been the.
They would. The music was supposed to hit, and then after the 2 count.
Yeah, it would have been the 1, 2, 2.5.
Yeah,
and then the music
like,
when Steph's reacting.
During the moment, he just like looks pissed, and then boom, music hits.
Yeah.
So the music hitting, like maybe it was a tad second late that we see it, but Damian Priest got his shit knocked the fuck out for a second.
Yeah.
But he still carried the match at the end of it all. He still finished it. He still walked out as the champion.
Ray.
Sir Raymond Sanchez as the champion.
Raymond. Well, I'm playing that spot now. I want to see him
actually. Watch his hand as well.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it was still a good match. It was still a good match. He still finished it. What was another match that happened during that? We discussed the women's, the men's, that
The Bloodline versus Cody.
Yo, Jacob Fatu being the MVP of that match.
facts.
Jacob Fatu. I said this Monday. I need Jacob Fatu versus Kevin Steen. Not Kevin
Yeah.
Owens.
Yo,
I need Jacob Fatu versus Kevin Steen to have it.
my brother pointed out when Solo is supposed to be the enforcer of the Bloodline, and he pulls out 2-3 bad motherfuckers that are worse than him. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah. Wait, yo, Jacob Fatu is your like second in
He's the
your-
Umaga.
Yeah, and it's like, yo. The only problem with that is Jacob Fatu, especially with this on Saturday, it's like, ah man, Jacob Fatu is ready to be the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Like Jacob
He
Fatu
has
has the
that
look,
he
has the
it
presence.
factor.
Yeah, it's like, ah fuck.
He's been
Again,
having that it factor for the longest.
yeah, which is it's gonna be. We'll see what happens with that because that's gonna be the deciding, as they continue with the bloodline.
Yo, all right. So Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Watching Braun Breaker versus Dragunov on Monday, I'm happy he's not the Intercontinental Champion. I'm looking at the move now.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, it's all good. All good. That match is gonna end up.
Yeah, he was out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Told you. That match, I feel like, is gonna end up being a 4-way for the IC title.
I think it could have been the knee.
The knee clipped him.
So when he went to pick up Seth,
Seth
kneed him in the head.
Okay.
And then he does the move like right when he goes, but he's out when he lands, but his head doesn't hit the mat.
So it might have been
when he
the knee.
lands, he's limp.
Yeah. So it
I
might have
don't
been.
know if it was the knee or if it was both of them.
I have to rewatch. I have to
Was it the
rewatch
knee
it.
to the temple?
He did. It was like to the top of his head, but like I saw him grab Seth's foot after the kick out, like after the ref kicked him out for you. Like, all right, you know.
No. They'll play it because then that's definitely gonna get fucking.
But like, yeah, he goes to pick him up. Damien knees him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Damien picks him up. He knees like right here.
Oh yeah, so it's his temple. He's gonna get fucking knocked. Any little damage to that, bro, you're knocked. So if he caught him, if he actually clipped him, oh yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That shit rattled his brain. That knee to the temple rattled his brain.
Yeah. Because even Damien's like flat on the floor on his stomach. And he doesn't even give a shit that Drew McIntyre's walking out right now. Okay. All right, I get it. Because I was like, I didn't notice any of that. I ain't gonna lie. I've been so tired this fucking week. I fell asleep during important shit. I didn't fall asleep during that women's ladder match though. I was not falling asleep for
that shit was epic. That was by far one of the best women's matches overall. Like from beginning to end, even if they were going balls out crazy. Listen, Shotzi Blackheart was not in the match, and let's be thankful because if it wasn't going to be Zoe Stark, it would have been Shotzi.
Yeah, Shotzi would have been taking a lot of crazy bumps.
Yeah,
but Zoe, oh man, like I said, she deserves nice vacation after all of that.
Can we admit, or at least for this week, for the WWE does 6-man ladder matches better than AEW. Because the ladder match they did in Forbidden Door was a little sloppy. I don't want to say sloppy. It was spot forwarded, and those little ladders I was like, these little ladders. I know why they got them here. They gonna put them through the little ladder because they
I
cheaper.
think it's all the way how the match is kind of set up. I don't think it's like so much on just AEW in general. It's just about the certain people that were in that ladder match that, you know.
It seemed like WWE went through their ladder match a little bit more. And it was a little more polished. Because there was some rough spots in AEW's.
I think because of the only thing I'll give WWE especially better on is because they have their roster, you know? Like everyone in that is a WWE person, you know? With the AEW one, was it two out of the six are people that usually not there?
Yeah, Phantasma and
Leo.
Yeah.
Leo just got back. So it's like he's still relatively fresh when it comes to their roster.
But they held their own. Like Leo and Phantasma were the most. Like they did the biggest shit in there. Besides Takeshka.
No, bro, but Takeshita did amazing. That's the thing.
He
There were
should've won
moments
that.
in there that it's like they did well. Shit, even Jack Perry though, I felt like he was off in it.
Yeah.
Like he was someone, and also he's still, I guess, getting accustomed to working again because he hasn't wrestled as much.
Yeah.
So it's still that. But no, definitely WWE killed with their ladder matches,
Yeah.
both of them, the men's and the women's. That women's was like, yo, they said hold our beer when it comes to their fucking
Word.
match. But
yo, all right. So I got a question.
Yeah.
And this be our closing.
Okay.
Gigi did mention cowboy shit in the tournament.
Oh, word!
But he
that
lost.
was another thing I spoke about.
Yeah.
God damn it, Toe! You couldn't give me that.
No,
You could
because
just let
I'm
it
like,
go.
I
Just let the episode end.
I see you, son.
Let the episode
I
end.
see you,
Yo,
nigga.
but
I see you.
I honestly
It's
saw
like the
Daniel
Brady
Bryan
Bunch
winning this.
fucking screen. I see you. You right there, son.
Word. I saw Daniel Bryan winning the tournament, but I was like, why did you put cowboy shit in the tournament?
Told you this nigga was not gonna win. This is Brian. This is oh my god. This was Danielson's fucking W for the year. I told you this was going to happen. I told you they were going to give him this W. They'll give the W next year to Hangman if he really fucking wants it. But it's going to be the one who they see fit for wrestling. And then it's in Calgary. Come on now. They definitely was going to give it to Danielson.
My thing is now you're doing Danielson Swerve at Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, again, are you going to give Danielson the title here when he's done in what?
He's
3
not.
months?
Swerve is going to continue. Danielson doesn't need a championship.
For the story purpose, cowboy shit versus Swerve is a reason why they fight.
That's what I'm
Danielson,
saying. That would have
it's
been
like it kind of is like this is the last chance he's gonna get at that title. So what happens here?
So what happens here is that Hangman Adam Page is now trying to talk to the elite, realizing this is my last resort. And, Mr. Bitch does not like that so much. So we're going to find a medium here. And, and
yeah, like
bitch.
Drake. They're going to be in Canada.
Bitch.
I pushed the wrong button.
I love that. But yeah, like there's gonna be some animosity, but you're gonna bring in Hangman Page back into the fold. Can we see a triple threat now in Wembley? Because why not, right? Yeah, because Hangman now is trying to be in the elite again because he wants Swerve, and because fucking Danielson beat him in the Owen Hart, he wants him too. I want the both of them. You know what? You bring that title back, you'll be back in the elite. But you have to be back with us. Type of shit. And that's how they're going to try to sway that in. That's how you're gonna end up getting a triple threat match. I'm calling it right now. Danielson is gonna get screwed on his one-on-one. Just so we can add to this storyline. If you really want Hangman in the title picture. But I told you, Raymond, that we weren't going to get him at Forbidden Door. You didn't believe me. Shame on you. All right. Told you we're going to get him at the Owen Hart tournament. And he was going to go over, yeah, but he's not going to win. Guess what happened? Do you know what happened next? Do you know what happens next, Ray? Raise your hand if you know what happens next. Raise that hand of yours. You know you want to. That's right. Listen, I see you raising it on the low. It's okay. You know what happens? Toe.
I want to hear what happened. I know whatever you say is gonna happen. You're on a hot streak.
I'll tell you what happens. Hangman loses. Oh my
God. Dun dun dun.
Posible. Oh no.
You know what's the funny thing about it is that, again, in the way I thought, Hangman could lose at Wembley.
Yeah, see, there
with
you go.
Danielson,
You had a thought that told you something.
I'm trying to make this work again long term. Makes sense. Right now, it's like you're gonna give Danielson another loss when he's on his retirement tour.
Yeah, he just wants to get
here. It would have worked out. Here it would have worked out.
That's it.
He could have gone to Wembley, and you know what he could have done at Wembley? Face fucking Nigel McGuinness, which everyone wanted. Nigel McGuinness was at AEW, was at Dynamite this week, and it was teasing it again. And it's like, come on, that's the match we should have had at Wembley.
I mean, what if you have? Well, yeah, but what do you have it in All Out?
I'm thinking about like Nigel McGuinness, and I'm also thinking about Wade Barrett at the same time. And I was like, so if we had Wade Barrett, Nigel McGuinness, and Drew McIntyre in a faction, how well would that work out? And I'm like, damn, that would be really fucking good at the same time.
Funny enough, Barrett and McIntyre were in a team for years. They were the
That
Blue
I
Bloods.
know. That I know.
Yeah.
That's why they kind of like
Blue Bloods.
working them into this whole storyline. Like, yo, back off. You'll get fired. Let's not do that.
Yeah, they were the Blue Bloods. Nigel never got to work with them really like that. But
just
Nigel,
have all three of those personalities in general.
Yeah, that would be something right there. But man, they have to do Nigel Danielson at least once before Danielson actually retires.
Maybe, just maybe, it'll be something where Danielson will basically wants to request that. Like, hey, for shits and giggles.
No, at this point, I don't think it's gonna be the shits and giggles. I think it's gonna be because of everything Nigel's been saying on commentary that it's like, hey, I've been hearing this shit you're saying. Yeah, you're gonna fight me now, or you're gonna fight me now, in a sense. We shall see. We shall see where they go with that. And we'll see how this Wembley card gets together because Ospreay's wrestling MJF next week instead of at Wembley now. So I want to see what they're about to do with Ospreay. Yeah, so. But we'll see. We'll see as we come back next week.
It's gonna be scheduled, but it's probably gonna be like a DQ.
Oh, for why? For why?
To end in the DQ, to add, to be like, oh, we're not gonna get a clear winner, blah blah blah. I really love this fan, but I hate the fact that it's drying my eyeballs out right now. Like, it's so comforting to have it, and I'm so hot as fuck, and it's hot as fuck. But this shit is drying my fucking eyeballs out right now. And I'm like, I'm smoked out. Okay, had a couple drinks in very hot temperature degree weather here, and I feel like those episodes that you see of SpongeBob where they like zoom in on their eyeballs and they're just like, this is so disgusting when you like open it close.
Damn.
Before Gigi melts here.
Please.
We want to remind everyone we will be back tomorrow with the Toe of the Show with Ray.
Yeah, I might be here.
So tune in for that, everyone. But till then, take us home, Toe.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's your friendly neighborhood knuckleheads.
Wait. Thank you, by the way, Dijak, for joining Wrestling with Knuckleheads. We appreciate you. Before we just really
definitely. Feast your eyes on us leaving. It's your friendly neighborhood